I come to thee, oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to thee, oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to thee.
Makakesu arapele. Our dear Heavenly Father, and our Father through the blood shed on the cruel cross of Calvary. Master, we come before you on this special day as the community of Polokwane, community of Capricorn, some from Skukuni, some from Waterbeck. For one single purpose, Lord, to come and debate and deliberate on the future of our own kids. Father, we pray that as we commence with this public participation, you descend down, Master, and illuminate our thoughts so that each and every one, as he or she is going to speak, it should be to the benefit of our nation and our own children. We pray for the chair. Lord, as you'll be guiding the process, we pray for everyone who will be taking the podium to give the contributions. Father, we thank you, and we want to declare that everything is possible and done. All in Jesus Christ I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Principal Siyabonga. Let's greet the community of Polokwane.
Aritamishim batu ba Polokwane.
I want to acknowledge the members of parliament that are here. There is a chair of the portfolio committee on home affairs.
Ke rata hore ke amogele maloko a parlamente le bagolo ba rena.
I also want to welcome the member of parliament,
Le maloko a parlamente.
Honorable Poem Mamabulo, from the Sport, Arts and Culture Portfolio Committee.
Le logo mama bolo wa go tswa go sport culture.
I've seen the Director General around also. I want to acknowledge that. But most importantly, I want to welcome every individual. We are supposed at this stage to have there is a councillor that is supposed to be representing the mayor to do the welcoming. Councillor Mamabulo. All right. So I'll allow her to do the opening remarks.
Thank you, Program Director, Chairperson of the Portfolio, students, parents, teachers, school administrators, business community, local, state, and federal government, government representatives, unions, political parties, It is my great pleasure to welcome you in this institution, Polokwane Municipality.
Ke lethabo le legolo go nna go le amogela mo masepaleng wa Polokwane.
Let us all participate and rejoice.
Ka moka a re kgatheng tema re ipsineng.
On my left-hand side,
Ka mo lehlakoreng la ka la ntšhošo
go na le di bathroom.
go na le dintlwana tša boithomelo.
I just want to remember,
Ke rata go
I just want to remind you
ke le gopotse gore
one of our motto of education is
moeno wa rena wa thuto ke gore
one thing no one can take away from you,
se ke selo se o ka se amogeng ke motho goba wa se tšeela ke motho.
I thank you.
Ke rata go leboga.
Thank you very much, Mama Babulo,
Mme Mama
for
Babulo, ke a go
the
leboga.
welcoming. We are at home now.
Re amogele ke re
People of
lapeng.
Polokwane have officially welcomed us.
Batho ba Polokwane ba re amogetše semmušo.
For today, I'm going to ask Honorable Muratshehla to proceed with the program.
Le go ke tlo gopela morwa tshehla gore ebe yena a re eta go pele mo lenaanong tshepedišo la rena.
He's at home,
O ka gae
so I think you will relate
o
with
tla
him.
kgona go sepediša
I want him to relate with
le
his
lena
community.
ka seo
Thank you, Principal.
ta go be re se bolela hlogo re a go leboga.
Dumela.
Good day.
Awa. Dumela.
Good day.
Honorable Mama Bolo, dumela.
Le go mama bolo le sompe mama le thobela.
Re a leboga.
Thank you.
Makakesu, the mayor has correctly
Mara tropo o boletše gabotse.
welcomed all and sundry. And now my job is to fire on.
O le amogetše gabotse dulang le iketleng wa ka mošomo ke go tšwela pele.
Going straight into the agenda, the guiding agenda of the day,
Go tsena lenaanong tshepedišo la rena thwi.
I'm going to request honorable members up front here to introduce themselves.
Ke tlo kgopela maloko a rena le go fa ba tetsebiša gore ke bona bo mang.
I will start on my extreme right with the honorable Hochilitsie Wabone.
Ke tla thoma ka kwa. I will start at the end for King Litiwe the fourth.
Dumelang.
Good morning.
Batho ba mo Polokwane ba dumedise principal.
Principal, people are not welcoming here in Polokwane.
Go na le tension.
There is go na le bothata.
Lebitso la ka ke nna Tebogo Letsie.
I am Tebogo Letsie.
I am a member of the National Assembly.
Ke leloko la le parlamente.
Serving on the portfolio committee of basic education.
Ke šomela komiti ya portfolio ya tša thuto ya motheo.
I'm deployed in parliament by the biggest organization in South Africa.
Ke rometše mo ke mokgatlo o mogolo.
Thank you. The ANC. Thank you.
ANC. Ke a leboga.
Tobela,
Good morning.
why am I more ke Katlego Susan Wapala,
I am Katlego Susan Phala.
a member of the provincial legislature mo Limpopo.
Leloko la lekgotla theramelao.
I am representing the official opposition party in South
Ke
Africa,
emetše leloko la sepolotiki kgahlano
Democratic Alliance.
ke nna wa DA.
Ndimatshegare.
Good morning.
Enhlikani.
Latamisha.
Vito ra mina ni Susani Violet Mathe, member of the African National Congress,
I'm Susan Violet Mata,
chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education in Limpopo Legislature. I thank you.
ni mutshamaxitulu wa komiti ya dyondzo eka xifundzankulu xa Limpopo Nkhinseni.
My name is Bongi Wempingo Kikaba. I'm the chairperson of the
Bongi
Portfolio
Kikaba,
Committee
Kikaba.
on Basic Education, National Assembly. Thank you very much.
Avuxeni, vito ra mina ni Elvis Suwela, ndi xirho xa komiti leyi ya dyondzo kwala ka National Assembly inkomo.
Mina Nkulukumba Suwela, I'm the member of the Education Committee in this province. Thank you.
Dumela, Lina Laka Kirneilwe Mashabela.
Good morning, I am Mashabela.
I'm Reneilu Mashabela.
Reneilu Mashabela.
Serving on the Portfolio Committee of Basic Education.
Kilililoko la tuto ya motheo.
Deployed by the Economic Freedom Fighters. National Assembly.
Thank you.
Dimatiare. Dumelang. Molweni. Goeiedag. Good day. My name is Nombuyiselo Gladys Adjones. I'm the member of the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education from National Assembly. Thank you.
Goeiemorgen, good morning. My naam is Desiree van der Walt. Ek se DA lid van die parlement op die onderwyskomitee and I reside in Tzaneen, Limpopo.
Tameng. Libito la ke Bafuze Yabo. Ke member ya Portfolio Committee ya Basic Education in the 6th Parliament. I'm deployed into this parliament by the African National Congress and I'm from Gauteng.
Realebo Lina Laka Kironi. My father's name Kimurwatsetla. In 2019, I was among those deployed by the African National Congress to the 6th administration in the National Assembly. And I was further deployed to this all-important Portfolio Committee on Basic Education. And my place of origin, it's Limpopo in Tzaneen, Mopane region. Thank you. Magagesu, let's take this opportunity to recognize in our midst as an entourage, in our midst, we have got DBE members today led by himself, the Director General, Ntate Mweli, Regakubela DBE contingent, EMLL, Batubakonwe born. Thank you very much. And further in our midst, we have got the parliamentary staff. The staff says Wananguri, Mushumawarena, Watamaya, and Otamaya Katelen. All the entire parliamentary staff to rise and show themselves. Thank you very much. And further in our midst, we have got members from the provincial Department of Basic Education. Surely they should show interest by being here. In other provinces, Morosayao, the province, they show up. Any member from the Provincial Department of Education? There they are. Thank you very much. I would be surprised. In principle, as a pastor, even on Sunday, I was going to term it that is a sin of omission. if he were not going to show up. I go now to the last group, the Parliamentary Protection Services Group. We are not going to, they are here. Some of them are in uniform, visible policing. They are undercover. We are not going to request them to rise for strategic purposes. Yeah, for strategic purposes. Ndade, Guadela, wherever you are, they are here. And they are guarding against, mark you, comrade and colleagues. Early more, we are in Parliament. Parliament is in session. That is what you must understand. Therefore, the decorum of Parliament is going to be adhered to. Any disruption, the parliamentary protection services are here. You will just see them about Gugaba Wishagwamudi. So, Magagesu, those were the people, I think, Chairperson, I'm not omitting anybody. Ne? Yeah, I've covered the ground. Oh, no. I was doing it deliberately. Honorable Musa Chawan and Honorable Boy Mamabolo, because the chairperson basically acknowledged them. But for the sake of respecting the decorum of Parliament, let me acknowledge that in our midst, of course, they've respected us. Another one is from Sports and Culture, and the other one is from Home Affairs. He has just rested today to deal with those who are illegally crossing. So the guy so that you have got something to report when you go home. Thank you very much, colleagues. We go straight away now to the next item, which is the aims and objectives of our being here. I can see that colleagues are more than ready. They want to give their input. But let me indicate, colleagues, that in 1994, this country witnessed what used not to be what we call a bloodless transition into a new dispensation. In 1994, on the 27th of April, from that time until 1996, the country was governed by what we call the government of national unity, in a way or indirectly, based on what we call the Sunset Clause. It was only on the 18th of December 1996 that the first ever democratic constitution was adopted, and it was put into effect on the 4th of February 1997. And when that constitution was adopted, amongst other, it was how our education is going to be run, and hence the act that we call the South African Schools Act. You will understand that when that act was adopted together with the constitution, we were not that conversant with a number of things. But given any government of the day that be, and the department that is governing it, there would be for sometimes to be some changes. But listen to me very carefully. The South Africans adopted what we call a participatory democracy, which means once the constitution has been adopted, if there must be some serious changes, you must go back to the people and find out what are the views of those people, if you have to make or tamper with the constitution. Today, the Department of Basic Education brought to the Portfolio Committee, and they said, Portfolio Committee, we see the need of changes on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. And the Portfolio Committee took the same amendments based on the Act to Parliament, and Parliament adopted the bill, which bill we have brought to you today to give or make some inputs, if you think indeed changes must be effected or not. This is the price of working under democracy, and more so a participatory democracy. We are now going to be at your mercy, and after the Parliament has adopted the bill, now it was the duty of the Portfolio Committee lined up here to go from one province to the other. Coincidentally, I don't know, in Limpopo it's myself, Honorable van der Walt, and the fighter, Mama Shabel. No, maybe they might have seen that we are in the majority, because you see, you can see in the Portfolio Committee already we are 3. All these other ones, they are staggered. It's 1 or 2 where they are lucky. 1 or 2. Limpopo, we are in charge. 3. If we were to vote according to the province, we would be in charge through and through. But nonetheless, here we are. We have started with Limpopo. From here next week, we'll be in Free State. It is going to be a day today. We started in November on Friday. Yesterday, we were in Tsanen. Today, we are in Capricorn region. And we expect also members from Sekhukhune region, because we are only allocated 3 districts. You see, we expect people from Sekhukhune either to walk or drive here. People from Waterberg either to walk or drive here, because it is not going to be possible for us to go to the 4th district or the 4th region. So this is us, the leadership of the Portfolio Committee. You have deployed on behalf of your political parties, and we are just, ours is to listen to you speak. And at the end of the day, we will tell you what is it that we are going to do with all your inputs. But I'm going to plead, number 1, that we will call 10-10. I'm going to recognize 10 hands from my left, and they will come. When I recognize you, you walk straight to the first chair, so on and so on. And thereafter, I come to my right. I recognize another 10. We will do so round after another until we shall have satisfied ourselves, and you shall have also satisfied yourself. We are going to be as democratic as we possibly will be. Believe you us. I'm starting right away. Thank you very much. They say behind any strongest man in life, there is a woman. You can see on my lieutenant, though I'm operating on borrowed rope, but she has just reminded me on 2 important cardinal points. Number 1, every speaker is going to be allocated 3 minutes, and who's going to be our timekeeper? Oh no, the chair herself, she's going to timekeep. No manga base. When the 3 minutes has lapsed, we will stop you, and you must just stop. Otherwise, I told you at the beginning that this is a parliamentary situation. People who defy, we normally know how to address them. The other thing is the issue of the written submissions. Where are those papers where they need to collect those who are not prepared to talk? On the table, those of you who feel they don't want to talk, but they've got something to express, you can just silently walk to that table. They will give you a form, but you must start by indicating whether you support the bill or whether you do not support the bill. So that the message must be very clear. It should be unambiguous to avoid unnecessary confusion. Is that it's what alles in die Akne? Thank colleagues, we are starting without much ado the recognition of hands. This is your day. This is your parliament. I see the first hand here, but that light, man. Some of us are suffering from ageism. Is that light having a purpose? Yeah, because it struck me like, and I'm from an operation of an eye, but well, I will have to tolerate this operation duty calls. Number one. Number two, I want to see the show of hands. You must assist me. Ne? I'm growing. Oh, Baba Guadela, thank you very much. Assist me by identifying them. Number two. Number three.
Not here, in front. Number three.
Oh, here in front with a red shirt. Take seat number 4. Number 4, the white shirt. Number 5. Yeah, the number 5. There are 2. 5 and 6.
Yes.
Ozan? 5 and 2. Baba Guadela, yes. The guy there with the navy jacket. It's a lady. I told you that your light is going to kill me. Number next. Go for him. Call him or her to take the next. You'll tell me when the number is reached 10. No, you will see you got the 3rd round. It's covered. By enough, ne? It's okay, ne? Thank you very much. No, the rest, wait a bit, your turn will come. Lunagamo, be busy meditating whether you want to speak or write down. I'll be coming for you. Baba, the stage is yours. 3 minutes and nothing more.
Thank you, Program Director. I think this is not part of the minute. As SATU Capricorn region, having more than 11,000 members in the region, the biggest union representing majority of teachers in this region, support the bill. But we, however, raise this kind of issues. We are opposing to the definition of corporal punishment. Current status is enough to protect the right of learners against those administering corporal punishment. Number 2, inclusion of grade R as the entry class for schooling. We support it, but also the amendment is supported. This is long overdue. What needs to be looked at, the new amendment, is the implication of those offering lessons for grade R learners. In the main, the new amendment seeks to formulate grade R. It will not make sense to formulate grade R and do nothing about grade R educators. We are submitting to amend of Employment of Education Act. Disturbing of and hindering school activities. Amendment has the potential of instilling fear among members of the union, especially this union. It is in its suggested form, it does not give room for the union activities, be strike, marches, and pickets, as they have potential of disturbing education activities. Remember, previously, it was brought by declaring education as essential services, and we oppose to that. We are still opposing to this thing of hindering classes only as a criminal offense in education. We therefore reject the inclusion of such an amendment in our view that the country has many laws that will take responsibility of ensuring that disturbing education is taken on board. Monitoring learners, we are not opposing to the entire amendment. Our feeling is that the amendment seeks to exonerate parents from taking responsibility of their children. We therefore propose the insertion of a clause that will force parents to report any form of absenteeism to their schools. Amendment of Section 8A. We support the usage of alcohol in schools for educational purposes in the laboratories. Any proposal that will want to have alcohol in school, be in for fundraising or any other reason, we don't support. In fact, we reject it. Disclosure of SGB members. We do not have issues with SGB members disclosing their financial and business interests to the MEC. We, however, take issues.
Your time is 3 minutes. Next. Yeah, no. Before the next speaker, when you speak, please submit your name. Your name is important. And where possible, if you feel comfortable, the organization that you also represent, it will also assist. The recordings are on. This one is Jimmy Ngobeni. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Also, thank you to the rest of the committee. My name is Henny Kombrink from the Federation of School Governing Bodies in South Africa. This afternoon, in particular, I'm representing our members from Sekhukhune, Waterberg, and Capricorn, most of them here, but also some of them who cannot be here. From FETSA's side, we partially support the bill. We feel that there are some amendments that will not improve the quality of education in our schools. These clauses in particular are Clause 4, Clause 5C, Clause 16, Clause 14, and Clause 34. In terms of Clause 14, which entails the disclosure of financial interests by members of a governing body, where they will have to, on a yearly basis, disclose their financial interests, but also those of their partners, spouses, and closest relatives. We feel this will be an invasion of privacy, and further also, this will deter members putting themselves available to serve on the SGBs. Then, looking into the language and admissions policy, FETSAS supports a cooperative governance model as vested in the Constitution of South Africa, SASA, and also various court cases, where we feel that it is the community which is closest to our schools which must have the responsibility to establish policy on these matters. Furthermore, we feel that if the HOD has the sole authority, we will sit with an authoritarian state, and we do not support an authoritarian state. We believe in democracy. Capacity is also a problem in terms of admission of these policies to the department. We have almost 24,000 public schools in our country, and we believe the department will not have the capacity to go through all of those documentation in time. And furthermore, in the Rivonia case, it has been established that school capacity can be part of a school's admission policy, and we feel that the Bela bill is silent about school capacity. So we propose uniform norms and standards on school capacity, which is objective, which can then be followed, and that will also put any disputes out of the way. Then, in terms of the SGB's power concerning procurement, Clause 16 will speak to the HOD, which will have the central authority to procure LTSM, that's learning and teaching material, where already the Schools Act makes provision for schools under Section 21C to procure their own LTSM. This will once again give the authority to the state, and we don't feel that the department has the necessary capacity to distribute timeously and also quality of these learning and teaching materials.
With due respect, your time has lapsed.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Next.
Tobela legae. Wa eme mo ke Thabo wa Machidi o tswa Limpopo Disability Center Managers Forum. Bele re a amogela le lore una le mo isa re khotsofatse. Sa mathomo ke emetse di centera tsa di disability tse leng re 98 ye in Limpopo ka di caregiver tse 2972 ka di beneficiary tse 10797. Tse leng re di caterer bana ba leng re ke learner severe profound intellectual disability ba leng re ba negligent ka fase ya education. Jano e be re gopela hore ele dira melao le melawana ya lena re gopela hore di centera tsa rena le tsona di include ka lebaka la hore Department of Education e na le court order e issuileng ka 2010 ko Pietermaritzburg High Court ye leng re itsentshitswe ke forum ya Western Cape. As Limpopo, we are part of that forum of the Western Cape. re submitile di-memorandum tse dintšhi kudu ko officing ya DG ko DPA le officing ya MEC wa Limpopo, but mara they don't take us serious. Jaanong re hwele kae? As parliament re kgopela gore bolelang le DG wa national Ntate Mathanzima Moeli a le fe dilo tša rena, and then le kgone go ka re thuša because of bana ba le bona ba na le tokelo ya khumana education ka lebaka la gore ko dikolong ma-mistress ba ka se ba thakole ba ka se ba thapiše. Jaanong rena re take the responsibility ya gore re kgone go ba thuša, mara Department of Education ya ba negligent thobela.
Re a leboha. Next.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Andre Weyer, and I'm responding to and providing comments on the Bela bill.
Good afternoon. My name is Machidi Tabo. He is representing Limpopo Forum of the Disabled, and they have many centers and many learners that they are looking after. Now, they have many a time sent in memorandums where they were sending their grievances that they should be attended to. So the request is that you as government take into cognizance when you do these rules that the disabled are also accounted for. Now, he has mentioned Duji Mathanzima, who has received many of their memos, that you should speak to him so that he can tell you what their request is.
You may continue, Baba.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm Andre Weyer, and I'm responding to and providing comments on the Bela bill on behalf of Petersburg High School community, which includes parents, people in Polokwane, as well as the larger Limpopo province that send their children to our school and hostel. I would also like to reaffirm our commitment to the advancement of quality public basic education in South Africa, and would like to state that all children are entitled to quality education. It is important to take note that the drafters of the current bill does not see the school governing bodies as a worthy partner, and what makes us worry is that the centralization of power with only one dominant player, namely the state. If we take a closer look at the proposed changes of the Bela bill, I would like to dwell on two issues, and firstly it's the admission policy. On the admission policy in 4D, amending Section 5 of SASA, within these amendments, the final authority, quote unquote, lies with the HOD, which we do not support. We propose that the current formulation must be retained, reason being that we feel that the centralization of power goes against the original aim of SASA to establish schools as an extension of its relevant communities. We further believe that the constitutionality of such a change will not comply with the principles as stated and also tested in the Rivonia Primary Schools case, MEC for Education Gauteng versus Governing Body of the Rivonia Primary School 2013. The admission policy needs to be closely associated with the capacity of a school, and the standards that govern admissions needs to be objectively looked at. Shifting the goalposts on the decision when schools are full are not acceptable. Schools reach a critical point when it should be regarded as full. It is important to take note that the building of new schools are more important in this matter and has not been done lately in Limpopo or the rest of the country. Limiting the SGB powers in Section 2.5c, amending Section 6 of SASA on the language policy, in determining the language of a school, we do not support it. It is unconstitutional and is contradictory to Sections 29.2 and 31.1 of the Constitution of South Africa. A community, other than the HOD, must have the power to make a choice about language in a school. Legislation should rather focus on universal concepts of fairness as written in the Constitution and read together with the Children's Section 31 of Basic Rights, which directs the use of a home language as a tool for basic education. The success in the use of mother tongue education has been scientifically proven numerous times before, and therefore We should not change that. I thank you.
Thank you. Whilst calling the next speaker, I will keep on reminding you. Number one, mention who you are. Number two, you mention the organization, the structure you might be representing. Number three, it's very important also to tell us, because that is basically what we want to hear, whether you support or you do not support. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Forster, and I represent Law School Pietersburg Oos. We do not support the Bela bill as it's currently written. We do actually appreciate the fact that we can open conversation with regards to education in our country, which is the most essential part of development of this nation. The sections that we do not support currently is Section 5. We don't agree with the HOD has the final authority with regards to admission. This is against the Constitution. The HOD can't determine capacity of a school. Section 6, with regards to the language policy, again the HOD can't have the final say on language policy of a school. The SGB can always consider recommendations from the HOD for further consideration. On Section 21, on Section 18A, the POPI Act protects SGB members with regards to disclosing personal financial statements. There are plus minus more than 200,000 SGB members in this country, and it will basically be an impossible task to really verify all of that. With regards to Section 20, the unilateral integration of school facilities is not acceptable. And Section 21, 3A, the compulsory centralized procurement is not supported. Thank you.
Next.
I am Lekau Caleb Mamawulo. I'm speaking for SATU. For purposes of being properly understood, I'm speaking from a background of being a principal in relation to the bill. If you check the Section 5, for instance, okay, together with SATU, we support the bill, that the amendments will surely assist in addressing practical problems that exist. For instance, the same Section 5, which we strongly support, is that from 1994 to date, the challenge of access to former Model C schools will always remain a challenge unless the bill is changed. And it is against that background that I had my child having to change and do Afrikaans to be admitted in the only available school that has Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. And that, to me, is 25 years of contravening with basic rights. So for purposes of equality, as the bill seeks to address, it actually says all the people in the city or wherever the school is the sphere that must admit learners. It is the learners and the interests for them that the bill supports, that the MEC can overrule its effect and make sure that equality is properly addressed as it was not fairly addressed. Now, on the issue of absenteeism of learners, I think the bill is correct in fostering that every stakeholder in education should participate. But however, the bill must emphasize the role of the parent. And if the parents are not coming to party, other structures of government like SAPS the bill must ensure that they are taken on board to cause and force parents to take responsibility in that effect. Now, the powers of the SGB clearly not only limited to the language policy and also access is proper and fair that the MEC or the HOD be the final arbiter to that effect. Thank you.
Next.
I'm Sitlapelo ME, representing SATU, Capricorn region. I agree with the bill as it is with the following corrections. For the amendment of section 29 dealing with the roles of public service workers in SGB, we as SATU reject the exclusion of public service workers from chairing in the SGB. It will have serious repercussions to deep rural areas where level of literacy is very low and the communities relies in the main of the leadership and guardians of public service employees. And then again on the disclosure by SGB members, we do not have issues with SGB members disclosing their financial and business interests to the MEC. However, take issue with the intention of forcing relatives and spouses of SGB members and their relatives to disclose their financial and business interests. It must be noted that to be a member of SGB, it is a voluntary exercise. Therefore, if the Act seeks to rope in those private people who do not have link to, with the SGB, will be acting beyond the bounds by the MEC. Thank you.
Next.
Tobela, why mo ke go go tšwele from what they think from Lemole? Any person who unknowingly and intentionally interrupt, disturb or hinder any school activity or obtain any school in the performance of the school activities is guilty of any offense and liable of conviction to a fine. How much is the fine? There is no clear about the suspension in school. Then about the pregnancy, we have a lot of pregnancy in public school. So how about the mobile clinic for the sake of preventing the pregnancy? May I thank you.
Next.
Ya yimfa ke Mr. Apani, representing the association called COSA SGB, Congress of South African School Governing Bodies, mostly known as Melo Yelo. We support the bill, and then before that, I want to show something on clause 23. Which is covered in section 27 of SASA. And next feature, Kinaka give a little phone number, Charlina. Kinaka Chulu, Yawali phone number, Charlina, Little Mopi, the movie, Lidra Mushumu, because we are speaking about the law. And then a lawyer very interpret. Interpret. Sometimes differ interpretation. And then I think you are the one that you will be most of the time consulted, because education kwa fasikwa where maringanga mangaman kamula vana vana ba safari. Thank you very much. Rena submission ya rena ase khulu no ba gore re are kweleng di SGB tsa rena bohloko ka gore re ba leboge for bošomo o ba o dirang wa go hlokomela di million yona ntho ya go ba leboga e tla fetiša bommenemene le bokebeka bo go leng gona ka kwa dikolong ka lebaka la gore di SGB tša rena di gapeletšega gore di saene ditšheke tše di blank because a lebeletse gore o tla mo fiwa mebeleke ge dikolo di tswalela jwale o be o sa dišwa ditšheke tse le gore o tla no patela dilo tša sa re kwešišing. Last thing ke gore go ba leboga re tla be se ra senyane re bile le di what committees di be di bereka voluntarily so di sa leboge e gore le stepen sone seo ba se fiwa ke mmušo a wa re a se leboga bagešo le gona tlhe polelo ya ge kgolo ke go nora ka emela tše dintšhine a re lebogeng di-SGB re ba patele. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Fatima Adam Mangal Ibrahim, and I am a homeschooling parent. I would like to express gratitude on being able to comment on the Bela Bill, specifically with regards to home education. We therefore reject Clause 37 and Section 51 of the bill, which I will discuss in the following few paragraphs. We are a unique, universal, and individual homeschooling family with diverse roots, and home education has had such a great impact and positive on our lives, specifically with the current state of the world that COVID has left us all in. Our two amazing boys have flourished remarkably and have found such a great love for learning that it is catered to the specific and unique interests and learning styles which unfortunately cannot be done in overpacked classrooms with a one-size-fits-all curriculum. Because at the end of the day, each child and each of us are different with different interests and different ways of learning. We therefore reject Clause 37 of the Bela Bill, as this takes away from the many benefits that uncapped education has provided and the originality of the child. We should be asking ourselves, what are the skills that kids are going to most need in the late 2030s, rather than being forced to use a curriculum that has been handed down year over year, and let's face it, our world is ever changing. Every day we wake up and the world as we knew it yesterday is gone or completely changed in some other way. The CAPS curriculum just does not impart practical skills and is much rather rigid than holistic, which focuses on the needs and interests of the individual and the child. Also, we call for Section 51 of the bill to be removed, as the Children's Act, which is Section 18(2)(a), already and sufficiently regulates home education. One cannot assess a fish's ability to climb a tree. It won't work, as schooling and home education are entirely different paths. In conclusion, I'd just like to say that we are a diverse nation with many different races, cultures, and religions. So why have a one-size-fits-all curriculum? We are the Rainbow Nation for a reason, and we hereby register our objections for Section 51 with special regards to Clause 37. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you very much. Was that the last person? Okay. We are going to the second group that wishes to come. And at this time, Parliamentary Protection Services, we start at the back. This is democracy. You take the first person at the back, and he comes or she comes to the first seat. The first, in the Bible, they say the first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first. We apologize. I mean, we are very sorry for those of you who had to sit up front if you thought you will be the first to be called. But we don't apologize for that. Number one. Number two, from the back. No, number one is up front already. I need number two. Number three. Who told you that you don't take a lot for eyes? Number four. No, the red jacket, the parliamentary protection service is doing a good job. No, don't worry, we've got a generator. Number five. Baba Guadela. Tepile. Yeah, let the person come up front. Now, I will just say number next. When you see them better. I not Khadito Baba, your turn will come. Abe Pela front seat can sometimes be dangerous seats. Number next, until the last seat is occupied. There are 10. Eh? Thank you very much. Ndatewe, ofika monapele. Obolela liina la gago, wabolela ore wemeje mokgatlofi, and wabolela le gore o supporta bill yewe, ore ebe molao kgotsa nnyaa. And at the end of the day, all what you have to do is you have got 3 minutes to say all those. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Maxwell Mudiba. I support the Bela Bill, which seeks to enhance the organizational efficiency of the basic education system, to improve school governance, leadership, and accountability, transforming education services, and protecting vulnerable groups to ensure learner well-being and access to learning. We further support all the clauses in the Bela Bill because it will address problems, amongst others, the deteriorating learner school performance, dropping out through Clause 4, which increases accountability by school management teams, and misconduct in schools through Clause 9, by clarifying what constitutes an act of serious misconduct by learners, improving SGB members' accountability through declarations through Clause 14, and enabling the head of department to investigate school financial records, and limiting SGB powers where capacity is inadequate in an intervening provision to support schools through Clause 17 on the withdrawal of one or more functions of the SGB and address challenges which vary per school. And then, of course, empowering the head of department for equitable access to schooling and SGB's powers to determine the school's language policy is critical with the approval of HOD to ensure inclusive school policies through, as stated in Clause 5, because we believe that will further enhance social cohesion and open up a very simple democratic process, which is a dual medium of instruction in our schools, which some people do not want in some of our public schools. We also call for the regulation of school uniform in our schools, especially in public schools, because we feel that some schools tend to monopolize the process of school uniform selling, and they focus on them selling the school uniform, and that often becomes very expensive to parents. So we want to make a provision in the Bela Bill for the regulation of school uniform purchasing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Purity Zwane, and I'm a homeschooling mom, and I'm also registered with the Pestalozzi Trust. And I realized that traditional schooling didn't meet the educational and emotional needs of my children, so I opted for homeschooling. Home education is an education approach that is child-paced and with no restrictions to adherence to grades. Home education is an interest-led and approach-led to education. The child has the control of his or her education as a learning is based on his or her interest, ability, stage and development, and a desire for in-depth study on a particular area of interest. This isn't a one-size-fits-all. We use quite a number of different approaches and learning materials. As a primary caregiver of our children, why should we apply for permission to perform our God-given role of parenting and teaching our children in an environment, religion, and curriculum of our choice? The fact that there was no consultation or research conducted on the effectiveness of homeschooling in South Africa, it's an indication that the department is effectively not equipped to deal with the changes in the sector. In Limpopo alone, research has shown that after notification, when parents have applied to homeschool their children, 1 in 4 are still waiting for 5 months, and 75% are still waiting after 3 to 6 months of having applied. These are still waiting to be approved. It's not that their application took time to be approved, which is one of the reasons a few homeschoolers don't bother to register or are not registered at all. Hence, when seeing that the department has threatened to impose a jail term on parents of 6 months, and now it has been increased in the current bill to 12 months. Now, why the choice of education system that we use, or the curriculum? CAPS is a content-heavy and assessment-focused. In simple terms, it teaches to test. It's not learner-centered. We therefore chose a curriculum that suits our children's individual personalities, unique learning styles, and academic abilities. We make use of this curriculum that teaches understanding and application. It focuses on logical thought and understanding, promoting critical thinking and creativity. With this curriculum, our children will gain access and admission in universities in 160 countries. With this being said, my family and I will reject the bill in its current state. The department must go back to the drawing board to do justice to clause 37. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Marius Fools. I'm the chairperson of the school governing body of Laerskool Bosveld Primary and Lepalale. We oppose the proposed amendments, specifically 4 points that I'll point out. I would like to think in this whole hall we've got one point in common, and that is that we want to ensure the best quality of education for all our children. That is at least the view of the governing body of Laerskool Bosveld Primary. And for that reason, we firstly oppose the proposed amendments to admissions to schools. We believe that admissions should be subject to the availability, the capacity, and the ability of the school. And that is best judged by the school governing body and not by a HOD. For the simple fact that if you try to pour water in a bucket that can only take 10 liters, but you don't know it can only take 10 liters, you're probably going to put in 12 liters and you're going to spill. Also, if you try to pour water into a bag made of cloth, and you don't know it's made of cloth, it's not going to work either. The school governing body has the best knowledge to know how we should, who we should admit to the school in order to ensure the best quality of education. Therefore, we are of the opinion that the proposed amendment will not contribute to improved quality of education. In terms of the language policy, we feel this should be determined by the feeding area of the school. Therefore, the parents that actually take out the money to run the school, and once again, the school governing body is selected by the parents to look after their concerns. We do not believe that autocratizing the language policy of schools will be in the best benefit of quality education for every child in our country. Thirdly, in terms of the financial disclosures of SGB members, apart from it being, in our opinion, infringement on the privacy of citizens of this country, we also feel that it approaches the position where only those whose financial positions are known to government is allowed to make meaningful contributions to the education of future generations. There is no way that this can in any way benefit the quality of education that we provide to our children. Then lastly, in terms of procurement, especially of learning materials, although this can have a positive effect in some schools, we do not believe there should be a blanket policy. There are a lot of schools where this is not needed, where the education material that is already provided is there on time and provides the kind of education that we all want for our children. Centralizing the procurement of this material, we cannot see that that will make a positive benefit to basic education for every child. Let's only apply it where needed, and we believe the Minister and the HOD already has these powers to assist. So thank you.
Your time is up. Thank you very much. Next. Let us straighten up something here. Cameras which are benefiting from the sign language interpretations. Is she well placed? Thank you. Continue, ma.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Tando Lwetu, and I am here to speak on how homeschooling has benefited me and changed an impact on me. First, I would like to begin with the choice of curriculum. With homeschooling, I was able to take on a curriculum that would be beneficial for me in many ways and open many doors for me. With Cambridge, I have an opportunity to go to any university, local and abroad. I have the choice of environment and the freedom to learn at any choice or grounds, whether inside or out, for it has different advantages to how my mind is set when it comes to learning. I am also able to set out my pace and time to do my work, whereas this teaches me independence and confidence in being able to tackle problem areas without having any doubt. At school, it wouldn't be so easy for me to get the attention I needed, but now I am able to get the individual help, which also boosts my focus. It helped me to improve my grades in ways that I possibly couldn't imagine. I've been able to take my personal interests and hobbies such as art and turn them into subjects that I can study for a career choice. As schools don't provide such, because they have them as extra murals. Thank you.
Ria Leboa, next. Those who, let me straighten up this thing. Those who feel they have written something constructive, they don't want to go home with it, drop it at the table, because it will facilitate and assist in what you shall have said. Thank you. Over to you, Baba.
Thank you very much. I am Dr. Ishmael Selo, and I'm from SATU. Firstly, I support the bill with the amendment on section 1, which is on page 4, on specifically corporal punishment. According to me, that document is not clear, because to me that definition of corporal punishment is actually dull or unclear, because it says corporal punishment is actually any deliberate act against a child that inflicts pain. So I'm kindly requesting for the Parliament to actually review that definition of of corporal punishment, because the way it's structured, it means that there is no way as a teacher I should discipline the learner. And we understand the nature of the learners that we are dealing with nowadays, that at some point you need to enforce discipline. But my question is how? Because that document is not clear on how teachers should actually deal with punishment. I'm not talking of beating the learner, but just punishing. Because that definition, it says everything that the teacher has to do in terms of disciplining the learner is wrong. So I want that document to be actually clear on that. Thank you very much.
Next.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Nkapele Dimakazo Esther. I am a school principal, also representing SATU. I'm from Stanzabo Pape branch, Capricorn region of SATU. Yes, I want to speak to the amendment of Section 3 of the South African Schools Act. This clause seeks to amend Section 3A of SASA to provide that the school attendance for grade R and no longer from grade 1. So we want to highlight that SATU welcomes this amendment, and it is long overdue. However, we recommend that the Employment of Educators Act in this regard must be amended in line with amendment to ensure that grade R educators are employed in terms of the EEA, and that the provision is made for education budget and also the PPN for grade R educators. SATU welcomes this. I want to speak also to the clause 3, responsibility of the schools, amending section 4 of the South African Schools Act. This clause seeks the insertion, section 4, into the SASA to ensure that the educators, the principals, the school governing bodies are accountable and responsible for learners in their care. Enrollment of learners and their regular and punctual attendance at the school are prerequisite for educated nation. Moreover, the enrollment and punctual regular attendance at the school is important, because the school that has successfully kept absenteeism without valid reason will mostly likely to provide learners retention and performance. Therefore, we recommend that in this regard, we welcome the measure proposed as SATU, but we recommend that the roles and responsibilities of different role players, in this regard we speak of the teacher, the principal and the SGB, in ensuring the school attendance of learners must be clearly defined so that the extent of responsibility is clarified. The role of the district must also be clarified in terms of the scope of their support in schools in this regard. I thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Florence Mudipa. I'm a parent of two kids in 2 schools in Polokwane. I'm submitting my objection to the following clauses: that the governing body can no longer determine the admission policy. This is because, in my thinking, that should be left with the SGB because they know the capacity, number one. And I think one of the things that perpetuated this or encouraged these laws was the issue of Gauteng. And we cannot use Gauteng as a base for all the provinces where the MEC was intervening in all the admission issues. So we are saying because the SGBs, they understand the peculiar nature of the school, they should be allowed to determine the admission policy. They know how much the capacity is, and they also know the needs, the prototype of the school, whether it's a technical, is an academic school, and so on. The second submission will be on the disclosure of SGB members on their financial status. I'm saying SGB members, they go there on voluntary basis. They do not get any payment from the department, and therefore their monies have got nothing to do with the schools or the SGB. And therefore, we should not, I'm not supporting that SGB members should disclose their financial statuses to them. It might be for the good cause to check if they do benefit from the processes, but we know that we cannot assume that every member of SGB will automatically benefit. And therefore, if you don't pay me, you can have interest in my finances. The last one is on the issue of the schools will be provided learning material from the Department of Education. We know that currently the department is the player and the referee on learning material. The cataloging of textbooks is overseen by the Department of Education, also provided to the schools. And we're saying schools should have a latitude to purchase extra material that they know that will supplement the material that is the core material that is already there. Thank you very much.
Afternoon.
Thank you.
My name is Lebeso Rolani. I'm here representing Mawichuan Secondary School. First of all, I say I support the bill, but I say quality is not yet being served by our education system, as we are not being taught about what our country is rich of, which is the minerals and agricultural procedure. If we take it into deep consideration, Limpopo is one of the richest provinces that consist of minerals and high production in agricultural stuff. So to that, I say, let's go and look at the 4th Industrial Revolution. We are not in the previous revolution right now. So overall, I say the 4th Industrial Revolution is the revolution which consists of high productivity in technology, and the technology which is called the 5G technology. So to conclude what I know so far, I say the Limpopo generation and other generation in South Africa need to know about the mining and the agricultural so that we can have high production in our economy. Thank you.
Korten Bondag. Next.
Thank you. My name is Matumi Muleya from SATU, and we support the bill. And on the issue of admission, we just want to emphasize the issue of undocumented learners, that these parents are supposed to bring the documents, but unfortunately we find that sometimes they don't bring them in time. We just want to emphasize the issue of time frame here. How long should the school wait for those documents? Because he's having a problem. We find that a learner sometimes come to school and it is realized even in grade 12 where the learner is supposed to sit for examination, no documents, more especially from our neighboring, those who are coming from our neighboring countries. So we are emphasizing the issue of time frame, when, and it should not be the baby or the baby of the principal of or the teachers to seek for those documents. And on the issue of alcohol, we just want to stress again that if possible, when these licenses are issued, taverns should not be next to schools, because we're having a problem here. Taverns should be away from the school. If they are next to the school, you know our learners, they might go there before they go to school and have some sip of alcohol there. Thank you.
Next.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Andrea Bueta. I am proud mother of 4 school-going children. I am currently the HGB chairperson of Tom Nadia Technical High School. Parliament received more than 18,000 written comments. A third have already been analysed. And 89% of the written comments want the Bela bill completely rejected. 6% object to some parts of the bill. Only 35 submissions supports the bill. That is 0.19% of written comments.
Order.
Notable exclusions.
No, order. Let's correct you here. Don't make our job, because the analysis of what has come to Parliament, it's not what you are giving. You are misleading the people, and we can't allow you to do that. And that is not the purpose of this meeting today. So please don't do that. Don't do it.
Was my time stop? Can I continue? I still want my 3 minutes.
Mama, wait. I'm in
Thank
charge
you.
here. Wait. You see, ma'am, the report as to what are the outcomes of the written submission, oral submissions, is the job of the portfolio committee, not yours. Your job today is to input on those areas which you agree with and those you do not agree with. Please don't zoom into a dangerous zone, giving these people a falsified report, which is the report of these people. We are still waiting for the legal systems from both Parliament and DBE to give us the full analyzed report. Now you are reporting. Who are you to report? Who are you?
Andrea Bueta, may I continue? Thank you very much. We are against the centralizing of the bill, since MECs and HODs will be unable to sign thousands of school policies. Notable exclusions in the Bela bill includes online and blended learning. The Bela bill does not regulate online and blended learning. Since the COVID lockdown, this type of learning has become popular and should have been included. Sexual abuse in schools. The Bela bill fails to provide enough protection for learners that have to attend disciplinary hearings in the case of sexual abuse cases, where learners are often victims of adult sexual abuse. Systematic issues. The Bela bill ignores the real issues in our schools. It has no regulations that will solve the following problems: dropouts, lack of resources regarding teachers, classrooms, schools, libraries, laboratories, ICT infrastructure, and more. Safe infrastructure. There are many schools that still have pit latrines, mud classrooms, dilapidated buildings, asbestos roofs, and no water. Poor quality of teachers, and teachers that are not qualified to teach their subjects. As a technical high school, we are against the fact that the Section 5.5 of the School Act wants to change to Clause 4D of the bill that proposes amending Section 5.5 of the SASA by introducing a provision which seeks to limit the governing body's power to determine the school's admission policy. We further want to say that legislation and regulations that apply to the country as a whole must take precedence over those pertaining to the provinces. This means that in the event of a conflict between two pieces of legislation, the national legislation will prevail. A similar directive should be incorporated into the Schools Act. which will diffuse conflicts between national and provincial legislation.
Unfortunately, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm ending. It's time for the Department of Education to deliver on their promises.
But your
Thank
time
you.
is up. Let me just put something straight here. Colleagues, I'm chairing this meeting, and I understand fully what is the meaning of chairing a meeting. I've given her 4 minutes because she, along the way, went wayward and became irrelevant to the course of this meeting. That was the only person I shall have considered giving an additional minute or time. I gave her 4 minutes instead of 3. Anyone going wayward, you will be the master of your own peril. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Good afternoon, Chairperson and other members of the panel. Thank you once again for the opportunity to speak to you guys. I'm Glenn Groenewald. I represent Pietersburg Hoërskool, Pietersburg High School. I'm one of the SGB members there. The following points, I would like to go onto the record that we do not support the following points. We are in opposition of the changes to Section 18A, 4A. Neither the Companies Act nor the Public Finance Management Act require such extreme disclosure of interest by a member. We further believe that it would fall foul in terms of the POPI Act. We are doubtful that about the practicality of the verification process that needs to be in place, verifying the more than 200,000 SGB members. We also oppose to the submission of quarterly financial reports. If a school is well run, the audited financial statements should be enough to evaluate the school's financial situation, and the department may react on these statements if they do see it fit or necessary. It is important to make note that the Bela omits to address the responsibility of the state to reimburse schools for the mandatory exemption of school fees. Unilateral utilization of school facilities is proposed in Section 20, and this is also not supported. It is simply unacceptable, especially in a fee-paying school like ours, where the money allocated toward these facilities come from the parent community of the school. Centralized procurement, as proposed in Section 21(3)(a, is also not supported. By merely looking at the history of the department and their ability to deliver textbooks on time, as well as the quality of LTSM, we cannot support this. This type of legislation is counterproductive towards the achievement of quality education. Thank you very much.
We go to the 3rd round. The last time I started in front. Now, parliamentary protection services. Let's start at the back. Hands on my left. The first hand must take the first seat. So on and so on. Ari drenga spitinyan. Riazor bang bata mai legeregen bata mu straight bata ba tsora ke dala je bedi. Nyatela sis, Nyatela, you are accorded the first seat in front. You raise your hands. The parliamentary protection services will identify you and you'll come and line up by one. You may see the West. You are running short of how many? Okay, their hands. When you start at the back, you keep on walking towards the front. Join hand at night, because we may not have the luxury of coming back to you, depending on time. Because contribution and submissions, I will go to the right. And this time around, ke tlo thoma ka lena. Ha ke nyaka gore Modimo a dang bone. Because I know you might be angry with me because of the unorthodox way. Are we done, Baba Kwadela? Thank you very much. Mawe, the stage is yours. I'm not going to repeat. Oh, no. Ali and Agro no emelela sa kumana permission. But in any case, no. We are tama.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. My name is Taron Lozi from Lepelle Nkumpi. Let me start by saying education is the great engine for human development. But there is too much unfairness, inequality, inability in our education system. Because our children, especially from rural areas, it's a pandemic. We must call it a pandemic because system is not fair. White kids are being privileged in terms of education. Our people, especially from the rural areas, there's no education there. Let us start by saying, let us look at the schools where our young people from rural areas, I hear we are talking here, we don't talk about the rural areas here. Rural areas are mostly infected, disadvantaged because of this unfairness of this education. I was thinking I'm very angry and hungry because there's no fairness here. I'm angry.
Sorry, before you pass. Erkwan, Rebolelaga Bela Bill.
Amendment, we must talk about serious issues here.
Now,
our people are very disadvantaged.
Do you support the bill or not?
Somewhere I support it, somewhere I don't support it.
Next.
Ke rata ho dumedisa batho ka moka dina la ka ke nna Ntotole Manokwana from Molemole municipality. Polelo ya ka ke nyane kudu. Nna ke tshwenya ka barutishi ba rena. Barutishi ba rena ba re tlhokomelela bana go letšatši usubela letšatši. Mara ke dumelelana le molawana o lo beileng. Ke na le mo ke sa dumelelana mo tabeng ya hore barutishi ba rena ha ke bone o na le mo ka reng ba shireletšea molawana ye ka mokana le shireletša bana. Na re reng ka morutišo ena o tlo šireletšwa ke eng e le ka ba kaone e le ka bea melawana e la e lekanetša ya lekana ka re ya nyoko lekananyana ngwana se ka ba protected kudu o feta morutiši ngwana o tla le polao dilo tša go bola sekolong morutiši ana mata o ra ka modira eng o tla ba se tša go baditše morutiši a re tlhokomeleng batswadi ba ka.
Listen to the interpretation. Brief.
In short, teachers are not protected, but children are more protected than teachers. Do something about it.
Okay. Wabolela moke Mamulatolo Deni Mulele from Molemole sub-region. I am the chairperson of the African National Congress in my branch, Ward 12 for that matter. I am partly agreeing with the bill, there is a clause that is unclear, if not ambiguous. On corporal punishment, it says corporal punishment is abolished, no one may administer or inflict it or impose it. But it doesn't say a thing on how punishment should be administered for our children to cooperate in the school settings. And I need to say something on this educational system of ours, of which is very concerning on my side. Our curriculum, I am very concerned about our curriculum because our educational system is more theoretical than practical. I am therefore of view that it should be changed into applied so as for it to change the makeup of our economic system. Because I, for one, I believe that the education is for development and it is therefore give direction, if not shape, to our economy. But if it prepares us to be job seekers than job creators, we have got a problem. I am therefore emphatically saying that you should take into cognizance that our educational system should be changed into applied. So as for our young ones, when they are done with their matric, but really agriculture, and really applied agriculture, skabona reason ya university, ayolem. I'd really applied mathematics, askabona reason ya university, issue for problem solving. With these few words, I thank you.
Next. Wait a bit. Okay. Fire on, Baba.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Greetings to the House at large and all protocols observed. My name is Morari James Khanya, orator of Mogodimo Seket, representative and president of Matledi Secondary School. I hereby support the bill, but then, however, I believe that there are some improvements that can be made on it. In regards to Section 1 of South African Schools Act 84 of 1996, with regards to corporal punishment, some methods listed in the bill are taken advantage of by educators due to maybe some issues that they might be suffering from, such as anger in the morning. As such, they tend to inflict more corporal punishment than needed on the children. Because I'm a learner, I'm able to see that. I believe that there are some methods that can be put in place as a way of enforcing punishment, such as, I don't know if it can be defined as punishment, but such as disciplinary hearings, meetings with the parents and social workers, because as a learner I have come to realize that sometimes learners are engaging in misconduct because they are suffering from certain things, so they just want to find a way of expressing themselves or their anger or whatever they might be suffering from, which is why I see it as important, pivotal and imperative that social workers be invited to school so that they can communicate with us, the learners, to can try to figure out as to why we are engaging in misconduct for us to deserve corporal punishment. What is that thing that's forcing you or leading you to engage in misbehavior? In a way, I do believe that also certain methods of punishment that's related to learning in a way can be put in place, as this will promote self-discipline. For example, instead of hitting the learner, the teacher can tell the learner to write the study guide from page 1 to page 3. This will give the learner a chance to reflect on his or her education, and which is why I said it promotes self-discipline and also acts as a source or as a way of punishment for the learner. One thing again is the Section 5 Act 84 of 1996. I'm just going to read it. It says that a public school must admit and provide education to learners and must serve their educational requirements for the duration of the school attendance without unfairly discriminating in any way. My issue is on unfairly discriminating in any way. It isn't fully explained, which is why, as a gay person, I can see that in schools, there are some teachers who are still discriminating against certain learners in regards to religious beliefs, sexual orientation, races, and culture. As a Muslim person who is in a Christian school, I personally do not suffer from any discrimination, but I do believe that somewhere there are learners that are suffering from discrimination, which is why I believe that this discrimination in any way should be further emphasized as to what kind of discrimination, and the school should talk about what the things that they allow at the school, so that before the learner can come to the school, they better understand what is acceptable at the school to further avoid being discriminated against. No, thank you, sir.
But I must say, you say my teacher about teaching you. Really level. Thank you very much. Next.
Morena modula stulo ntamishe ba dirishane ka wene o ya ka tatelano ya lena ka ge o ba tseba ke matla le tebela ke bereka mahlatjane sekete ke nokotlo. I support the bill. Potšišoše na wa ikua dikolong tša magaeng, deep rural area of Venda, deep rural area of Raskukune, deep rural area of Botlokwa le mafelo a go swana nao go be go introducewa rural allowance go barutiši. Was the purpose motivational? If yes, why ba sa hlwe ba e fiwa barutiši? Hlogo tša dikolo ga di sa bula ka ga bona from Sunday to Sunday. Le go le gona ebile ba tlile mo ka 12 o'clock ka motswane ba expectiwa wa sekolong 6 o'clock go fitlhela sontaga se se tlago. Ba feilišwa a ba fiwe selo, ba phasiša ba fiwa khapo komikana. Mekgatlo ya rena ya dipolotiki e gomotše na re tla roma mang. Ntate Moratshehla re be re ka roma lena ge e be e sa le mo lapeleng. Jwale re ka se rome motho ka gore o moo, mare go botša sego ka phatla putsang dihlogo tša sekolo ka gore a di dule ka ga bona di pateleng. Ke bolela ka tšhelete e se go komikana. O buša tšhelete la ya di-rural allowance gore barutiši ba ye kgafe ge di-principal di re tšamayang extra mile e be gobane ba tseba gore le ba hlatswa diatla. Di-union tša rena di gomotše ba šia ka gore ba kgauswi le posolo go mo go yona. Ba tšaba gore o ka no se ba biše ngwago o tlago go e ba reshuffle. Jwale ba hlekesetša ba rapela gore ba fihle moo ka mantlwana le pudišwana tše e sego tše dinyane ke tše dikgologolo. Ke fetša fa o thobela.
Re a leboga seboledi se sengwe re lekwele motlhomphei. Oh, no, they're advising me that can we get a brief of translation. And translators, record as and when people speak so that you do not misrepresent the inputs. Because you see, what you are going to say is going into the record. And I'll talk about it at the tail end. When they are going to bring things together, the interpretation and the input are likely to clash. Are you interpret?
Chairperson, with due respect, ke tla kgopela mogala jo a beng a lefa a mphelina la gagwe ka baka la gore ga ka mo kwa ge a bolela gore ke ena mang. I didn't hear. Ke beile
Chairperson, I'm going to try and summarize what the old man was saying. First and foremost, he said he represented the Tukuno district, Nukutlo district. Secondly, he mentioned an annual rural allowance. Rural allowance. Now, I am surprised that you are no longer allowing or giving rural allowance, because that used to help and encourage the teachers to do their work, because they knew that after doing the work, definitely they are going to be remunerated. Because this is happening in the deep rural villages. And secondly, most of these teachers are no longer encouraged in the sense that they are looking at your post. They are thinking that if they do what you tell them to do, definitely next day when you do reshuffle, definitely they will be given posts. Then the last point, he said, please, to encourage them. Some of them are here at the moment as principals and teachers, and tomorrow you expect them to perform at schools. Meantime, they are there at 6 o'clock. They never recuperated, prepared themselves to go and teach these kids. But lastly, please bring back rural allowance. Thank you.
Incentives, it should be in monetary form rather than just trophies. Thank you very much. Next.
Okay, greetings everyone. Standing in front is TK Mavuta, representing Taretala Secondary School from CPT Circuit. Firstly, I would like to propose on section 8A6 of, rather 84 of 1996. My proposal is as follows, that if the principal or her delegate calls for help in the school in terms of removing legal substance, it might be alcohol, a weapon, or any other any other thing that may be in the school premise, the school, rather the principal or her delegate should have a direct link or line of communication with the Commissioner of the South African Police Service, because we are now teaching in a literal war zone where kids are always armed in the school premises. And then number 2 is with regards to the point where the admission is now being taken away from the school governing body to the HOD. As a grade 12 educator myself, I find that one to be very problematic, because already we are working Sunday to Sunday because of other a big factor which I consider is the fact that we are forced to pass learners not on merit but because of age or the number of years they've been in a certain phase. So now when we already have that case where the power has been taken away from the principal and the educators, we now can't even control who we admit. I find it to be problematic, as the school governing body has a deep and a profound knowledge of the community, and they know the components of the school, and they know the structure and the layout of the school, and they are the best people who can help with regards to who do we admit and who do we not admit, and that is usually on merit. But if the admission is not centralized, I repeat, we see the ramification in the learners we teach in grade 12. Last year alone, I was teaching grade 12 where there were 6 learners in grade 12 who were over the age of 20. They're in grade 12 because we had to push them because of age and years in a single phase. So we plead that the admission policy be left with the SGB, as they are the relevant and knowledgeable parties with regards to the communities of the school. Thank you.
Thank you. But before you leave, can you tell these people, do you support or you don't support the bill?
I do not support the bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Ke leboga sebaka se le mphileng sona. Ke Monica Tema go tswa Magaedi Disability under Limpopo Disability Forum. Bill ya rena ke a support ebile ke support because inside the bill ba golofadi ai ba edi. Then go na le disability tse le gore nga di kgone go a sekolong straight to the public school. So go ya ka our South African bill section 29 everyone have the right to basic education. So far re be re gopela gore ka ga bill ya rena re gopela gore le re edeng rena di organization because re bereka ka bana ba ba golofetseng ba bangwe ba bona ba sa kgoneng selo ba bangwe ba bona ba ba bona ba bereka so bana ba tlhokomelang ka malapeng. So re be re gopela gore di department le rena di re lebelele ka leitlho le lengwe re bereka hard re tsoga fru ra mmerekong go swana le mang le mang but at the end a re go le selo. So Department of Education e gona go tla go tšea ditokomane go rena then bona ba phadima rena ra ya sekolo ya meberekong e le rena ba ba setla. So re a gopela ebile we are praying ke a gopela ke re le rena re edeng ka re ga bila le rena re kgone go gore ge re ya mešomong re kgone go tlhapa gobane bana ba le ba ba golofadi le bona ba nyaka tlhokomelo ya kgolo. Ke a leboga.
Re a leboga ma. Next.
Re a leboga mtlhompe Imrana Moraset. Nna ke Ngwepe Moitswadi from SATU. I support the bill, even though there are a number of challenges and other things that we don't go along with. One, I want to talk to you about the issue of the school taking responsibility. Yes, it's true, we are making register almost every day. And I'm happy that we are now using the D where we are uploading, where everyone can see as well that this child is not attending the school whatsoever. So the novale mathat le mo ile gore tswantse ba maikarabelo a rena as ba rutishi kudu rena re di principal gore ke tswantse ke thome ke tswe sekolong ke o nyaka methala rena ngwana nkane a sa te sekolong. It is the responsibility of the principal le SGB to do more investigations or ngwana sa te sekolong jaaka sekolong di eme pass rate thoma dropa le thoma o shupa rena ka menwa. So we get my ikarabelo a ye go ba maleba motswadi ke ena a dutse le ngwana ka gae, therefore we must take responsibility. Number 2, ke nyaka bolela ka section 8A subsection 8 mo re reng moruti principal or a ka no appoint somebody to do the test maybe ka moruti wa ngwana and other things ape rena rena maikarabelo a rena ona batho ba modimo be re no tabe ya adopt a cop ke yona e thushang dan gore nna ke boe ke bitse bana ke ra re tsholela ka mo o re ntwanela e test e positive ke positive ita kai I don't know and I'm sure mapodisa ba e dira sometimes e ba tšale nako e le re ba swantse ba go hospital ba get those tests and other things so re nana kwa nngwe ya o dira lo tsana tšengwe re sacrifice our education ya bana ka dilo tše leng gore swantse re nyaka relevant people to do that. The last issue I want to talk about here is section 12.8 subsection 8 of Act 48 of 1990, merging of schools. Ndate morasa thale tu e jana kam ele parela e sa le parela e palla le nchudi ene sa tlo wa parela e re ka se tlhokomela kudu mola le reng re issue out a notice to the public. Later ba go area re bola ka Bochum is too big. Mara re bola ka Bochum re bola ka sekolo sa kwa Molelo. Why can't we talk about the community of that particular school? only parents, the interested parties around, not in the area. Somebody might think Amalwa that side of the mountain and just say, I don't agree with the merging of the schools. Then who's suffering there? Where we did that, we came up with this thing of merging schools. Only school has got only 2 or 3 educators with 8 grades. Grade RCD, 8 grades. So, but we are responsible for all these things. We sacrifice a quality, a quantity. So we get to try to charge. We talk about the try to come canacho.
Next speaker. To decide whether you fill in the form or you come forward to contribute. Thank you.
Modula Stulo, Kina Jabu Wagapani, Kitlakechwa, Congress of South African School Governing Bodies. And then, before Katanata Vinyaka, Kikulele Wura Barutishi, Bailongor Barutilengo Nomu and Alekamopela Babolela English. Ona lengo le libe tshilena na kere ke leboga barutishi ka mo ka ba barutileng batho Sepedi Xitsonga le Tshivenga thuto ga se English fela motho ga rutegile a se ga tseba English fela nka se re ke a dumela go ba ga ke dumele Bela ka support ba ke support kenale input go dimo ga yona ke tlo tsena mo section 12A e leng gore e bolela ka di merger re le Congress of South African School Governing Bodies re na le bothata ka taba ya gore the officials tsa rena tsa Department of Education kudu ka mo Limpopo ga di comply le section 12A process ya go rationalize wa ga dikolo go na le di strike tse dintsi go ba le mo ileng gore the parents go ba di SGB di khona go ka dira di recommendations tsa bona mabapi le taba ya rationalization maro go manele gore ga ba fetolwe ne re proposal ya rena re le khosa SGB ne re whoever official o leng go taskilwe le taba ya go rationalize ngare go measure dikolo ga ka se follow I be a chargeable offense because immediately dikolo di listiwa mo listing ya dikolo tse leng go swantse di mejiwe the officials di a go botsa the principal gore re tlo tlhakantšha sekolo sela le sela ga ba rane process ya consultation immediately ba notloga then ge le tlo tsentšha dispute is only the same people bona ba le dispute go the same people bona ba le ba semba comply le 12A ibile le bona ba e forcetang gore dikolo tse ke di identifyilwe a di rationalize ra tseba gore go na le tse dingwe dikolo di a sabotagiwa mo the principal a tse dingwe a di supportiwe so gore sekolo se feleletse le role ya fase then immediately listiwa sekolo seo immediately se listiwa le process a e sa raniwa then ne re kgopela gore e be chargeable offense go se comply le 12A then ye nngwe gape ke taba ya admission ne re kgopela gore the relevant people ba ile gore ba rana di admission ba sontse ba rana admission go ka act a be bona SGB re ngwaleng ka di bold letters gore SGB a be yone re ngwana wa tla mo ke go ba gatle because the principal na go ngwe di na le go no bushetsa bana morago ba re ba nyake le taba ya section 70 ba re keng circular 78 ya gore ngwana ga ba dira grade 11 a ya go grade 12 a tswa sekolong se sengwe dikolo tse dingwe di ba bushetsa morago tsa re a boele ka grade 11 then le ba go busheletša ga ba busheletše ka leboga ne kgopela le leboge le teacher in tuteleng Sepedi
sorry it's a really good man sorry apane ne o ska ya khole re batho Look here, Baba. There was no insinuation on English. Nagibeki tell the facts, Jangwana. Look the way our outliner did. We are for mother tongue instruction. I think you misconstrued me. I'm sorry, but I forgive you. Over to you, ma'am.
Over to you, Chair. Eric says sebaka se ke lebohe motsotsong phileng ona le tafole ya hao. Lebitso la ka ke Margaret Lefowane from Lephalale. Ke eme mo ke le SGB member. Batswadi ba ka re na le bothata. Ene ke a leboha ha parliament today le mo le tlo thetsa dillo tsa rena. SGB ho re tle re tlo nyaka di finance report tsa bona. Mona re struggle ho ba lokela ka hara committee. It will make them run away. Re a le khopela e lebelleng ka leihlo le leng. Re ka se khwane ka ha re tlo tsena ka hara di finance tsa bona. Because batho ba re ka bolela setse di buletse hore you are not paying us. Then ha le tlo thomanyeka all those things mo rena. We rather stay. Ke bolele ka the admission. Parliament ya rena ya South Africa ye re ratang. Bana ha re lokisheng bothata. We've got a problem. Ha re tla motong ya admin. Admin ye hana no re sontse re tse this admin re fe HOD. HOD when they failed only day by day correspondence ha ba khone ho di manage. Then today le a tshele ba fa admin na ba tlo khona na re tlo bula dikolo tsa rena in February re emerge approval from the HOD ba faila ho deliver this textbook on time. As I'm speaking right now where I come from in Lephalale, other children they don't have textbook. They're still waiting. Now we are still going to wait for the approval from HOD or approve the admin. Ban har lebelleng taba ya khosor ho be ho tle this bill ya hore ho be le admin e khosa ke eng batswadi ba rena ha re lokisheng dikolo ha re haeng dikolo. We need more schools and har dire more model C schools because ha le ka cheka re ba le di strike tse dintsi. This thing I was wishing to tell our parliament. Parliamentarna, we've got a lot of strike in January. What is causing that? For us to have those strikes. More, even myself, I feel that when the stage is coming, I'll be one of the parents who's going to strike for my child to get in the model schools. Why don't we fix our school? Why don't we fix our school? And stop us running to other people's school and say it's model C's. Why don't we do our school model C's? Pana parent, please help us. I'm from Lephalale. Lephalale is got model schools primary. It's Bosveld, it's Lephalale, it's a Lair school, it's King's College. This is 4 primaries. All of them, they should go to be admitted in one school, which is Hoer School. Are they going to manage? There is no way. Meaning, you should know that in that time when my child is going there, I'm going to strike in Hoer School to get a space. Parent, please, I'm begging you. The language, I feel like I'm the parent who should choose the language for my child. I should choose the language for my child. Please, parents, help us. We need your help in this thing. I don't support the bill.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, no. But you see, a very serious, don't go away. Then if we happen to come across a very serious allegation, you see, we have got the chairperson of the portfolio committee in the Limpopo provincial legislature here. Now she's whispering to me, she says, can we have the name of the school which has not yet received books, the textbooks?
Okay.
We want to record it because from here, yes, we must go and verify.
Yes, ma'am, please check Marapong. Helelo and Yelelo. Go and check the textbook because I'm working in the library. The parent came and asked me that if we are selling book, then we can buy for her children. I say, but they should get those books at...
No, you have said your point. The names of those schools is very important. You got them, ne?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay, sorry, she was speaking much in a vernacular. Can we have the translators doing their work?
I am Monica, and I'm a member of the SGB, and I'm also a librarian. Now, we have a serious problem when you remove or you give the HOD for admission, because our HDOs failed us when they were given duties to perform. So you cannot go back and give them extra job of saying they must admit our children. And we've got 4 primary schools and we've got only 1 high school, which means the children who are at the primary, all those primary schools, when they're supposed to go into the higher primary, it's going to be a problem when it comes to admission. Secondly, you must leave the admission with the SGBs, because they are so well conversant with the areas or the primary schools. Secondly, please, there is one school that she mentioned that they don't have textbooks. And one of the parents came into the library to say, please sell me this book if you do have it. Please attend to the issue of textbooks.
Next speaker.
Travela, Lina Lagakina Absalom Rapanyane, KMG SGB. Ke Kamoro page 4, ke supported the bill, but I disagree with the drugs. More the drugs, our Department of Education is failing us in terms of equipped apparatus. They drug mara apparatus measures we prevent this thing the drugs. So rebale problem it resulted to the corporal punishment. Corporal punishment, it came due to the drugs that are in the public school. And it also have the problem, make the performance to be dropped. So I appeal to the Department of Education to have that security guard who is already being well trained for the drug, because it's not currently not yet. So all public school, they don't have the security who is well equipped, who is well trained to eliminate this part of drugs. Because if there was an equipment, the drugs will be eliminated at schools. So the corporal punishment, because the learner, they misbehave due to the drugs that is being taken into the school. So there is a gap on the school, which is the security, which we requested the Department of Education to grant us the security at the schools. I thank you.
Thank you very much. He was mixing both languages. I don't know whether there is any need for interpretation. It's covered, ne? Thank you very much. The next group, which will group be number 4, and will come from here. Parliamentary Protection Service. We start from the front. Number 1, take the front seat. 3. Red t-shirt, you are number 1. Okay, you can negotiate among them. I'll take even number 3. Papa. This does not mean at the back we are not recognizing you. As long as the numbers are still in want, you're welcome to come forward. Protection Services, can you assist? until they are 10. Okay. In the interest of time, those of you who feel they've been sidelined, you can still write your submission and bring it to the front table here. Ababa re le bona mo mara bothata nga botse re nyaka 10. Re tare ke kokasije le mabudi pogo aga moragwana rena re saya to the next round now. Ndade Kwadela, are they 10? Protection services, are they 10? Okay, thank you very much. First one, ascend to the podium.
Tabela, parlementaire sur Afrika Borwa. Nna ke Manamela Michael, go tswa go mokgatlo mogolo wa barutiši wa SATU. Ke supporta bill. Le ge le gore o na le tše dingwe tše le gore di swanetše gore di lokišwe go swana le the definition of corporal punishment. Dilo ka moka re a di dumela e fela le tše le gore o na le tše le gore a re dumele tše le gore our chairperson comrade Jimmy a di tšweleditšeng. Ke a leboga.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, for giving me this opportunity to speak. My name is Sima SK. I'm commonly known as Cairo. I'm from the Department of Education. I'm based in the Capricorn South District. I represent both the department. I also represent my wife and my children at home. Yes, I do. I represent my family. I want to indicate, Chair, up front, that we support this bill to the hilt. This is quite revolutionary coming from a democratic state. One, the bill, in terms of the powers that have been allocated to the head of department, it says, in terms of the introduction of languages, for quite some time, Chairperson, we had a challenge in terms of where we have one medium of instruction schools. Where, Chairperson, frankly, you have a situation where if you want your child to go and study at a particular school, which is a one medium school, language school, your child is forced to do CPD in Afrikaans. Your child is forced to do Chivenda in Afrikaans. So we think the introduction of where it says the head of department is allocated powers to direct a school to introduce two medium of instruction languages, we think is quite revolutionary. It will assist. But the problem that I have, Chair, that I must indicate up front, is that I think there is too much of consultation. You know, transformation that is not negotiable. There is too much of consultation. When we are saying the head of department, before he does that, he must involve, he must consult this, he must consult that. We think, where I'm seated and my family, we think it must stop at where it says the head of department, where it says, let me read it, where it says the head of department must inform and notify. Full stop. Because if you read it currently, Chair, it says before the head of department can make that directive, that implement that directive, the head of department has to consult the SGB, has to consult the parents, and that takes time. And in the process, it creates an impression that if the HOD has to consult, that particular directive can be changed. So that's why I have a problem with. I think if the HOD can take that decision and inform the SGB, inform the parent associations, inform the parents that I, as the head of department, I have taken this particular decision. I think it will help, Chairperson. Secondly, Chair, the last one is where parents are submitting falsified documents when they seek admission. We have a challenge. Pietersburg is a hotspot, we all know, in terms of admission. Parents who seek admission, some of them come with falsified documents, and there's no records. There's nothing we can do about it. But I'm happy that in the bill currently, it says those people must throw the rule book at those people. Those people who are presenting falsified information must be taken to task. But the only challenge that I have, Chair, is that it does not prescribe a sanction. I think the sanction must be prescribed in the bill to say if a parent submit falsified information, like you do in terms of those who are running, in terms of the amendment of Section 46 of independent schools, where you are saying a person who
who submit falsified, who run a school that is not registered will have 6 months, whatever. I'm saying, even in terms of the falsified information chairperson, that particular penalty must be strengthened, and it must be in the bill. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Next.
Ajele dumedisheng ka moka ya bolela mo ke Sophie Refule Matemane ke emetši bagolofadi ka moka ba Limpopo ka fasega Limpopo Disabilities Managers Forum polelo ka ke telele pata se telele ka mogo a ke kgone go dumela gore nka ema le pela pile ya lena go bane go na le dihlokwa tše ke di bonang gore a di ame bagolofadi ke na le putshišo ya mathomo ya gore education ia hlokomela gore bana ba ba leng ka ga di normal school ba ba referelang go di center tša bagolofadi go ba go di special school ge lengwalo la ngwana le ya ka circuit office le tšea nako e kae ngwana o kae ka nako eo o ya kwa sekolong o reporta gore re emetše lengwalo le le tswang circuit report ya circuit but ba tlo go botša after 6 months ngwana a se a hwetša report from circuit mara mem le principal ba ngwadile gore ngwana problem ya ngwana ke eng ga a kgone go bala ke eng but circuit office ga e tšee maikarabelo ke sa mathomo sa bobedi ke taba ya di-special schools a really department ya education a re lebeleleng di-special schools tše tša rena di leng ka mo gare ga di-rural area gore di iša kae bana ba bagolofadi ge ba tsena ka mola di-special school ba end up ba hwetša eng moputso o ba o hwetšang ka gare ga di-special school ke eng o ba iša kae bokamoso jwa bana ka gare ga di-special school ke o feng because ngwana o tsena ka gare ga special school a ba tšwe matswele le maledu a le ka gare ga special school but at the end ga a bereke ga a ne lapa ga a ne pampuku go la that 2,000 rand ye sa itšheng le ngwana universitying so but re swere re dira role ka gare ga education ka bana ba ba leng ka gare ga special school le matitšhere a sa trainiwang gore ngwana wa intellectually o swarwa jwang ba sa tsebeng le gore ngwana na leng pampers o hlakolwa jwang ke problem ye e re na le yona ka gare ga di-special school di-special school a di iši bana felo so dirang matlafatšo ya gore ka mo gare ga di-special school a go be le something ye e laetšang gore bana ba fetše sekolo ka gare ga special school ba be ba graduate re bone ba ba le something le ge nka ba a dirile mmereko wa go cleaner goba a dirile mmereko wa go apea or wa security because ke intellectual o staraga a ga hwetše something ya graduation le yena a tipone gore o na le something mo gare ga lefase and ya mafelelo e ntshwenyago go na le baemedi ba education ba ba leng ka gare ga di-center tša bagolofadi ba ba bitša LSPD ba tsene ka gare ga di-center ka baka la section 21 ye e re ngwana o mongwe le o mongwe o na le ditokelo tša gore a hwetše thuto fela ge ba tsena ka mo gare ga di-center tše di swereng ke social development ba hwetša ba diagile a ba dire tše di swanetšeng ka ditšhelete tšela di leng ka a ba dire tše di swanetšeng ka ditšhelete tšela ba
Unfortunately, the time is up.
a bana ba rena.
Thank you very much, Mama. Interpreter? Awa, ufejilena. Ulaula namun, yeah. Leta fella jaja jilele, Mama. That's how we work. It's me. Interpreter, there was much of Soto.
I am Sophie Matemane. I'm representing the disability department. I don't support the bill. Education of disabilities. When you apply, you should get a letter from the circuit office, but you will wait for a long time. You can even wait for 6 months without getting that letter. In the rural areas where these children are taken in, what is the children being taught? What are they being taught? Because they come out there without a skill. They stay there, money is being paid, they get their grants. Even the people who are supposed to be looking after the center, who've got to be taking the interest of these learners into heart, they don't do anything. So what should be done? That should be something that these kids, after graduating as a disabled person, could be able to do. I think skills here are of importance.
And next speaker.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I'm the Kuba LE attached to institutional governance in the Department of Education, Capricorn South District. Under amendment of Section 1, definition of corporal punishment, I propose that we have an addition to the other definition that says forcing a child to do exercise. I suggest that we add the word physical exercise so that it doesn't just have to be exercise. Forcing a child to do physical exercise. Again, under definitions, loans, I propose that there be a deletion of the part that says but does not include the payment of employees appointed by the governing body in terms of Section 20, subsection 4. This clause suggests that when you pay an employee appointed by the SGB, it's like it's a loan. So I propose that we delete this part that says, but does not include payment of employees appointed by the SGB. Under amendment of Section 5, I forgot to state that I support the bill. Section 5 amendments made there are very much clear, very much comfortable to me. I support them 100% in that they will assist us to ensure that all learners access education even in the former Model C schools. An example is a school in Lephalale where a lot of black learners are still excluded. We are still struggling to have access for those learners. I want to further propose the addition of the weight under admission of learners, Section 5. Learners should not be unfairly discriminated against when they are getting admitted. I propose that we have a clause that says, however, preference shall be given to South African citizens. Another amendment under Section 8A, where it says, after a principal or her delegate shall have confiscated illegal drug, dangerous weapon, blah, 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 he must invite the police to collect it. In case the police cannot come, the principal must deliver it to the police station. My proposal is that we should say, in case the police do not come, the principal should should inform the provincial commissioner to instruct the police to come and collect, because if the principal is to deliver and along the way he gets a roadblock, he might be arrested. The last one is for Section 43, Chairperson.
No, thank you. Thank you. You have said a mouthful. Next, thank you.
I am Shirley Khasago from SATU. As SATU, we support the bill, even if there are challenges alluded to by the chairperson. Let me talk about admission, which is a policy. I think it should be the prerogative of the department, whereby we still have schools like the schools in Ellis-Ras, whereby learners are being refused admission. And then another one, The language policy, we support it as it is on the bill. Thank you.
Korten Bondag, next.
Greetings to you all. My name is Kokesh Kekana and I stand before you as the President of the Representative Council of Learners at Tetwa Senior Secondary School. I support the bill for more accessibility to education. It is stated in the Bill of Rights, Section 29(1), that everyone has the right to basic education, including adult basic education. Yet, there are no local schools at the village providing adults with basic education. I attend school in a rural area whereby illiteracy rates among adults, especially grandparents, is high. Some of the learners only live with their grandparents. This disables them to obtain academic assistance and may lead to the learner to struggle academically, as some of them need time to understand information learned at school. I suggest that the Department of Basic Education erect schools for the elderly to enable them to exercise their rights, as I believe that everyone deserves a second chance. The bill also states that everyone has the right to further education. Some learners begin to feel remorse when they realize that the subject choices made in high school are not pleasing to them. I desire to witness career guidance placed as a subject or even as a program in every high school, starting at junior level, to make learners aware of more career opportunities. Selecting a career in grade 10 is a very crucial decision which determines the future of a learner. If chosen incorrectly due to lack of information, it will be difficult for the learner to have a luminous future. The power is in our hands as the youth to break the cycle of illiteracy and poverty in our country. That can only be achieved with well-informed decisions. I thank you.
My teacher will teach you one ayon. Next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and panel and the Parliament for allowing us the opportunity to make our representations. My name is Hercules Jansen van Vieren. I am the chairperson of the School Governing Board of Pietersburg Laerskool, and I'm also a parent of a learner in Pietersburg Laerskool and a learner in Pietersburg Hoërskool. We as Pietersburg Laerskool have a proud history of 115 years of serving the community of Polokwane. We do not support the bill as a whole. The sections that we do not support is Section 5, subsection 5. We do not support the final authority of the HOD with regards to admissions. Section 6, the veto power provided to the HOD unnecessarily opens the door for constitutional consultation. The money could rather be spent on building more functioning schools. Section 18A, this will fall foul of the Poppy Act. Section 20, we oppose the unilateral utilization of school facilities. That power cannot be given to the HOD. Section 21, we oppose the compulsory centralization of educational procurement. As what was evident during the COVID-19 pandemic, there is dangers in allowing that. Then, should the Bela pass, I just want to convey my condolences to the HOD of the various departments of education, because they will somehow have to find an additional 20 hours in a day to complete all these tasks that's contained within the BELAP. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And even for the condolences. Next.
Khotso. Kiseleka wa Surumula, Chairperson Maputra Secondary School, ka Blueberg, Malabo East. Ya mathomo mo ke taba ya hore he motswadi o ba motlhokomedi a ngwadisitse ngwana ka mo sekolong wa kgona ya hore be leloko la SGB na ke mathomo ebeng ke bontshe mo page 14 section 9 ya serious misconduct mo ngwana wa sekolo o na matlo o tswa mo khutamane ka hore motho ke minor, and I support the bill 96%. Give way for page 14, number B. mo le ne bontšha botse gore ne ngwana ya tshwere staff se le rene a se sa maleba o tshwana le sebetša o ba dihale ke matso a makhutha masome gore a tšeele ka gore ngwana o sa le ka fase taba ya bjalwa a re dumedi ebile ya nako o apaselo ka yona re ile se so re bontšhe taba ya thupa ba bontšhe ka yona kudu gore thupa siweni ke nnete thupa a re support mara ngwana a sa di mošomo wa sekolo o diwa ene page 6 mo le rene e bontšha gore re thusane batswadi le barutiši gore ngwana yo a attende he ngwana motswadi a tile ka mo lefaseng la rena ka mo South Africa a sena ditokomane tša maleba o dia ya ene ka gore ka morago bo mo dropa out because document a di a felela page 7 mo le rene bontšha taba gore monitoring and attendance we agree tše weng ka tšona mara re kgopela rene o na le di-former teachers a re ba re bopeng eng ore ka di-party tša meeting ya batswadi a bate ka experience ya bona ba re thuse ba re thathe ore kgone go dira le meeting ya rena e be le maatla gogedi re bontšhe fote ka taba ya e committee ka mokgwa rene re bontšha rene o ba le committee ya SBST ye thusane ko dikolong he bana ba le mathata a re ene ro di rene committee ene e be bothokwa batho ba itwisise ke a lebo.
Very much. Thank you, Baba. Next. Oh no, we would need some assistance with regard to interpretation, because all of these contributions are being recorded. Where there is misunderstanding, the interpreter will assist. Thank you.
My name is Silikas Rumule from Blaubeck area at Malibogo. If a child, she says, I support the Bela 96%. There are some of the things that I do not agree with. If a child is found with an instrument or of a dangerous instrument at school, what should be done to that child? What should be done to that child? If we don't support, I know we are not supposed to do corporal punishment, but what happens if a child does not do his or her work? What should we do in that case? If a child from a foreign country does not have proper documents, what is going to happen to this child when the child drops out? I think we have to empower our SGBs to do their work.
Next speaker.
Good day, good afternoon, Chairperson. I'm Councillor Jacques Hubert. I am the DA Polokwane caucus leader. I address this hearing in my capacity as a parent of 3. Chairperson, there are good and bad proposed amendments to the proposed amendment bill. The worrying underlying problem I have with certain amendments are that there is seemingly an effort to centralize power to the Department of Education with respect to admission and language policies. The school governing boards we have at our schools are representatives of us, the parents, who we as parents voted for to represent our interests. The Bela bill undermines communities and seeks to centralize power to the Department of Education. Certain amendments aim to give more power to politicians in high-rise buildings and make political decisions for our children and their future. And I think previous speakers all highlighted some of the issues they also have with HODs. SGBs know their schools and their communities. They are accountable to the parents and children, the actual shareholders of our schools. With respect to the proposed amendment of Section 6, the SGB should have the only say on their school's language policy. Chairperson, I think most of us all in the hall know the value of mother tongue education. Why force an Afrikaans school to become dual medium Afrikaans and English schools? Ironically, to cater for first language Sepedi learners. The problem in Polokwane is that there are not enough Sepedi schools in the city. Why force a second language on Sepedi-speaking learners and not address the problem at hand? Give people of all languages proper working schools. Build more schools to enable adequate mother tongue language. The bill is seemingly used to target mother tongue education. The Constitution protects mother tongue education, but having a politician play his or her political games to enforce an additional language onto a school is wrong. If there are instances where language policies are being used to discriminate against learners, an appeal mechanism should rather be put in place. This would adequately address that problem. How will the department practically scrutinize thousands of SGB policies? The Bela bill has no clauses about online or blended learning and fails to provide enough protection for learners that attend disciplinary hearings in cases of sexual abuse. In closing, Chairperson, DA has submitted extensive inputs and recommendations and clearly highlighted which amendments we are for and against. And most importantly, we have given inputs on how they can be corrected. I am against the proposed amendments of the bill in its current format. I thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Muti Elvis. I'm the President of Representative Council of Learners at Dwashu Secondary and the Secretary of RCL at Mamabulo Seket. I partially agree with the bill. I don't fully agree with it because there's more that needs to be added on the bill. For an example, our system focuses more on teaching learners vocabulary, reading, counting, and analyzing things. Whereas some people at other countries, if you go to Germany, go to Asia, people are being taught construction, people are being taught how to build, how to construct, and people are being taught mining. You find someone who matriculated, having a matric certificate, working at a mine. Where did that person learn mining? Because our country is the main source of natural resources, but other countries are teaching learners mining, whereas those learners who are being taught mining are going to work in our countries, while our countries is focusing on teaching learners vocabulary. My last question is, if we are encouraging quality in schools, why should we dictate which language should be used in schools? Let learners use the language of their choice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wanaka. I repeat, thank you to the teachers who produced those brains.
Revolutionary greetings. Asante Mnyeketi, Jina Lungu, Murores Kukuna. Mimi ni Mnyeketi wa Koses Mgodimo Branch, Masina Boenge, Lungwali Upya Masunda Hu, Kunye Mnyemu, ya 12A, 5A, na 7, Sarah Legon.
Okay, can we get somebody to...
As Wilson Skukun.
No, we are going to get somebody to assist in interpreting.
No, I will interpret, thank you. My name is Wilson Skukun, I'm the chairperson of Kosas Mgodimo Branch. I used Swahili because it's an emphasis that we as Africans, we need to use one language which is being identified by our African scholars as Swahili. I will be representing learners of Mgodimo Branch, particularly black learners from poor backgrounds, from poor schools, and that are poorly infrastructure, with poor infrastructure. I would look at 3 things. Number 1, the educational system. We are imposed, colonized educational system. That is the words of Paulo Freire, who said, the meaning of education and the invention of education at first was to teach a person how to think for themselves. But we have to accept whatever they bring to us and have to deal with it. We have no right to question, we have no right to amend whatever we are being taught. I'll also deal with the issue of industrial revolution. We are saying, the country is saying it's transforming to fourth industrial revolution, yet our learners are still carrying these heavy school bags full of 400, 300 pages of textbooks. We have e-learning in our phones. Why do we have to carry textbooks? We have problems of textbooks, but we have our phones. So we are not yet near to transform to fourth industrial revolution. Even the third industrial revolution of digital revolution, we are not even yet there. when you go to Morodi, there you find people who are able to control the smartphones. It's less than 50% of the community. I would also go to the issue of language. Swahili, it's a language in Africa which is used by 14 countries. Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, DRC, South Sudan, Somalia, Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, Comoros, and as far as Oman and Yemen. So this is a clear indication. You know, when you go to China, you go to those countries, successful countries, they learn in their home languages. As because we are multilinguistic people, we need to identify one African language which will be a medium of instruction amongst our learners, which is Swahili, as it is the most common spoken language in Africa. Revolution, continue. Thank you.
Okay, my fellow colleagues, I think I must remind you about something. I've caucused to my right and I've caucused with my left, nearby. We are having a combination of 3 districts here. It's Capricorn, it's Kukuni, and Waterberg. 10 more from this side. Identification. Mato, lift up your hands and come forward. I was justifying why we are going to the 4th and the 5th, the 5th and the 6th round. My timekeeper is on my extreme left. Take them haphazardly, not only from the front, also from the back, as I believe. All the hands that are up must come forward. Those who are tired may go home, but we must do justice to our work. No, understand me. Late. Are you having 10? Are you all right? Baba Gaden. Okay, thank you very much. First speaker, the podium is yours.
Khotso Maibelele. Naga Narabudi Magola, I'm a community lead. Kinoba Lidi Lonyana Jetaro Fela Jegitlo Udi Wolela Kidibona Momolao Okarega Lidi Jetloko. Sama Tomo Molao Chireleja Gudu Banaba School Marau Chireleji ma teacher. Rewana school Ronialo Anchedi teacher, I get him teacher Gampaga Chacha on again. Ma teacher Kibona Momolao wasn't a Molea Chirele DJ. And I get Hopela gore Lebuela Marawale level good. Some of this is Kadikolo. When the problem is serious, o kwacha di principal divija banaba e waka mo dikolo. Ba tsene ke di lodilo ana jeli di bona majaji ba e waka. O kwacha principal ayo bija muruti wa ga. Ene go ngwe ithulana le tumelo tse dingwe tsa rena. Ye ona khopela gore le tse serious good. Skalo village bana ba rena ditumelo tse dingwe le rena di sa di ba ta ba west se sengwe se ke fetjang ka sona go gore ngelere re go ntse go lebelwa melao ye setšhaba sa rena re lebelle kudu gore na batho ba dumela eng e a yuala yona ke a ikgopella ke a rapediša gore yuala bonyakege ka sekolong because motho a nwele yuala go no tshwana le ga sa je ga botse a go ne ka mokgo ka mokgona.
Thank you very much, Baba.
Thank you and good afternoon. My name is Maputi Kekana from SATU. We strongly support the bill, but there is a challenge. on Section 9 of SASA 84 of 1996, where it says the school governing body may, on reasonable ground or as a precautionary measure, suspend a learner who is suspected of a serious misconduct. There is a challenge there. The period is not stipulated there, the period of suspension. How long will the suspension be? Thank you very much.
And the Bondag. Next.
Receive warm, fraternal and revolutionary greetings. My name is Thabo Molele from COSA SGB, and I'm very much delighted to see you, our parliamentarians, because sometimes we are alone. Mara, I can see right now we're in Alabama, Babar Hatalang, the parliamentarian arena. If you can check in most cases, we are suffering. Modi department department is the lawmakers. How na somebody over Machabang, Maragia level to do Nalamataba Chabang, Kilina Bachabalin. So, on the Section 5, admission, Renana Parela, Holo Chairperson. I'm telling you, if you can check now, Modi grade 12 learners, Baba Feichi, who are not repeating, or Baba Kai, or Takarail Baba Nchi, simply because there are principals, Baba Itirlen, the owners of the schools, Baba Hanelaka admission, Baba Inch. There are so many schools still it's a mailing, and then Rinaka we understand the Merakwarnaki in, Merakwarnaku admit, Merakwarnaku governance. We went to those schools and then admitabana. Principals are conniving with the SGBs because our SGBs are not capacitated. They don't even understand their powers. And ibile abatsibo gorina matla abona afela kai bano tseba ilingi na ba khethile re batho ba kwa strateng kwa simply because bara ba bona ba tsana sekolo se se itseng. So principal mere kwa ku no re signa mo tie ke nnetiso uno signa mere kwa ku signa. So how re kya checka the process ka fela yona. It is wrong. Grade 12 learners, according to the guidelines, just secular 78. If the grade 12 learner, I can repeat 2 times, more, even 3 times. Go around and check those schools. Check level. Right now we go there simply because of the whistleblowers. We can't go around. We went to Malamulela. The similar case happened, whereby the principal, the SGB high, Banabana Chelete Barum Itwanzi Inchi, ya 550. And then Rebulela got the quintal 1, 2, 3, and no fee school. Belo. We went there, Ragara case yewe, Abolela Oriena. But from
next speaker.
Kialebo Papa Mrosetla, Lina Lagaki Joseph Banoi, member SGB Mutapeza High School, Kiwat Councillor, Wat 16 mo Polokwane. Kitoma ka gore ke support the bill ka di phetogo tse rata gore di lokelwe mo mabapi le taba ya code of conduct ntse ke rata gore mo lataba ya subject ya life orientation nako ya di class barutishi ba gatelele taba la code of conduct, school policy code of conduct ba familiarize bana ba sekolo ka yona gore re kgone go minimize conflict gare ga ditaba tša dikgotlano go yona infighting ba se ka tla ba e realize after ba seno ba molato ba tsebe the seriousness ya go breacha the code of conduct e be part of life orientation. Then sa bobedi department e aga the state of the art ya school dikolo tše ba di agang re a di amogela e fela ne re kgopela taba ya physical security or personal kudu bošego gore ge load shedding e tlile ka gore ba go seleka ba khatha di-cables ba tseba gore system ela di camera ya faila then e ka kgona gore thuša gore dikolo tša rena di bolokege go se ka tlhogo sa ba le bošaedi property goba infrastructure e bolokege mabapi le taba ya dikolo goba oversupply ya di-graduates le high pass rate ba sa khumane space ne ke nagana gore ge go kgonagala kudu ko di-rural area go establish di-technical high schools mo e le gore bana ba tla rutwa mešomo ya diatla go fitlha ko go matriki ge ba feditše ba kgona go tsentšhetša tšhelete re dia di-job creators not di-job seekers e ka re fa monyetla kudu le di-agricultural high school o tshwana le bokushki le boheri oppenheimer gore ge ba fetša sekolo ba tsene ka sector ya agriculture ba neme ba produce as one of the pillars of our economy. So le tabela di community colleges then dikolo tše di meditše go na le di-buildings ge re ka dira gore dikolo tšela di šomišwa as community colleges through the SETAs na mile go buildiwe di-workshop mowe bana ba sekolo ba di-drop outs ba kgone go rutwa mešomo ya diatla mowe di-buildings tsela di agiwe then le gore re tla ba re supplementa local economy. Ke a leboga.
Interpretation. Ausana motho.
I am Joseph Baloi, a principal and a counselor. SGB as well. We would like to request the government in the issue of merged schools, build schools that could help our children to be taught in different fields like farming, like mining, like all those things that are not taught in a normal school. These buildings that for the merged schools, there are buildings which are not being used. We can utilize those buildings to add more for people who can come and teach these kids. We have more graduates which are not employed. We can create jobs from those different areas so that our kids can be taught in different directions. Let's not produce job seekers, but people who can be independent. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Tobela, Naki Michael Maimela from Tapet Secondary School. And then Ibile ki Tushalo adoption ya ORs Mabucha Secondary School. Bela modi tabinja mabapile the extra lesson. We've got a serious problem because bar supply la bana dijo from Monday to Friday. So really big challenge ya fepa bana dijo tša bana during the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So bana havana dijo and ha re dumele lore we can use tšhelete tša
budget ya school. So it's a big challenge in our school. And then the issue of security. Dikolo tsa rena di thubelwa kudu. And tshepedišo ya ditšhelete kore a ba amoele taba ya di physical security ba nyaka di security tše le se registered sekolong re na le di camera system re na le di alarm system but di solar lights di fedile di gase di a utswiwa bogodu ke bo bontši so re palela ko nyaka di physical security so e be ke agree le bill ya security but re kgopela re dumele le gore re add ka security ya physical. And then se sengwe ke taba ya di budget tša ditšhelete tša norms and standard re na le serious problem because ko sekolong re na le enrollment mo enrollment e feta bo ma 1000 bana ga bana shelter mo ba tlhakanang gona assembly ge dipula di nwa go ba motlhomote le ba bangwe ba di stakeholders ba nyako addressa bana ba ba mo letšatšing then we spend a lot of time mo addressa bana mo letšatšing bangwe they end up in falling so ka re ka kwa hara di budget ba re beela limitation re ka no berekiša maybe mo 30,000 and go dia quotation ka kwa e fitla mo ya shelter dia mo 400 and something thousand so re na le serious problem ka ditaba tša financial usage gore nke le dumelele nyana gore ditšhelete tše re kgone di berekiša for the development of the school because at the end of the year tšhelete di boela morago mola e le gore development e šalela ko morago and then se sengwe sa mafelelo ke taba gore SSGB re na le challenge ya gore ge re tshwantse ro reka dilo tša to develop a sekolo they want to put the money into our account gore reke dilo tšela and ge di-charges di tswelela le bank charges ba tšea ditšhelete tša rena so re na le problem re kgopela re dumelele gore se ka tšea di-charges
sorry Baba, are you the school principal?
I am the SGB chairperson.
Okay. The name of the school?
Motlhapetse Secondary School, Moto wa Perekisi.
Okay, thank you. Noted down. Interpreter?
From Matlapetse High School.
High School. Moto wa Perekisi. Michael Maimela.
Michael Maimela from Motong wa Perekisi, Motlhapetse, the secondary school. They have a problem because I will start where he ended. The SGBs, when they are sent to buy material, the monies are transferred into their personal accounts, which is very irregular because when those monies are taken out, their monies, the bank charges come from their accounts. Another thing is, learners, when they come for lessons over the weekends, they have no food. The schools are vandalized because they don't have a registered security to guard those schools. Thieving is dominant. Gas cylinders and other equipment from schools are being stolen. The budget for erecting a shelter for learners, it's more than 40,000 from what he has said, but learners have to be at assembly, being addressed, standing on a place where there is a shelter, and some of them are fainting. Shelters that are constructed, if shelters have to be constructed, there should be a budget set aside for them. I had up till then.
Thank you very much. You know what I'm going to propose, interpreters? It appears you are a bit far away from the speakers. Now, the moment you hear a person talking in vernacular, that should be the right time for you to start noting. And so that you don't consult after the person has spoken, because for the sake of time. And the other thing, I'm going to plead with the people who are coming forward to speak. Can we concentrate on the Bela bill? We hear you have got different diverse problems in your schools, but can we concentrate on the Bela, the amendment of this bill as it is? Thank you very much. Over to you, Mama.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good afternoon. I'm standing here to support the bill. I need to emphasize on the following, Clause 4, in terms of the admission of learners in schools. As we're implementing or adopting the bill, can we really look into the issue of oversubscription in schools? I'm one of the circuit manager, maybe I did not indicate that I'm the circuit manager from Petersburg Circuit, which is here in Polokwane in the city, the most affected circuit manager when it comes to admission challenges. So when we deal with admission of learners, we should not just admit learners for the sake of admitting. There should be a point where we say the school is full, because we end up compromising the quality of education. So nowadays it's like it's a norm just to place a learner where there is a school. It doesn't matter if there is space or not. On Clause 35, the issue of unregistered independent schools. Really, I want to emphatically support the bill, because we have a lot of such unregistered schools. It's like if somebody doesn't have a job anymore, the only way to find a job is to start a school. And they do that without complying with the regulations. So if we enforce the penalty, it will assist a lot. The issue of home education as well. Really, it is important that this home education should be regulated. This country cannot be a free-for-all, where people just do as they please. So we need to regulate that. Allow me, colleagues, to indicate here that in terms of our special schools, we are doing very well. Our special schools are producing learners that are properly equipped. We are not here to promote the NGOs. This Bela bill is about South African Schools Act. So we cannot come here and say our special schools are not doing, or teachers that are employed in special schools are not doing well. Special schools in our department, in this province, are really doing the best that they could. Thank you very much.
By the way, did you tell us that your name is BDU?
My name is Bidi Ratale, Circuit Manager in Petersburg Circuit. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Next speaker.
My name is Abraham Lorodi. I'm from the ANC. There are two issues that I want to raise. Firstly, I want to indicate that I support the bill. The majority of people who are saying here, we take into cognizance that the majority of people that vote are Africans, blacks in particular. And when they vote, they expect the parliamentarians to put up laws that actually assist that their life gets better. On the other hand, parliamentarians also agree that schools need to be managed by parents who have got learners in those schools, and they put together what we refer to as school governing bodies. The majority of Africans who are here, the problem starts when those school governing bodies use the laws and regulations that they put together in the schools to exclude the majority of us. That's where the problem starts. It is those school governing bodies that are mostly in towns where they put up policies and regulations. One, they regulate the language policy that is used in that school, and it excludes us as Africans. Two, they use those policies in terms of regulating admission. Then they exclude the majority of Africans and blacks not to access those schools that are in towns. Here in Polokwane, which I also know that it is also happening in most of the towns in schools, Africans have moved away from villages basically because their economic status have changed. They are now staying in towns. Next to where they are staying, there is a school. When they've got to register that learner, they are told, or no, one, the language, it is not for your child, and two, the school is full. Take your child to Liwahomu, take your child to Sishil. Far away from where the parent is actually staying. All because of the policy that this school governing body has actually put together. What we are basically asking is the fact that the provisions of the bill, when you are taking away those powers to the HOD, is actually going to assist us. Because it is the HOD now, where when these parents are not able to get their children and their learners accepted, they go to the department and say, we are staying here, we are taking our kids here, and we are told 1, 2, 3. And it is going to then assist that those powers are taken away, because these school governing bodies uses these policies to exclude Africans to access these schools. Ndoribo.
Next speaker.
Your Excellencies, to the governance, honorable educators, fellow learners, please receive my humble greetings. I'm Maruma Shore from Khwadam Lake Secondary School, the RCL president and the grade 9 learner. I'm here to represent my circuit, which is CPT circuit. According to the amendment of section 12A, schools with a small enrollment, just like my school, Khwadam Lake, should be matched with another schools like ours. Teachers are under pressure, yet these things are because of less numbers of teachers. Now the schools cannot offer subjects like maths and science, which all in all disadvantages the future of learners because they are left with no choice to choose general subjects. And also according to the amendment of section 21, every learner has a right to education, but according to me, I think the amendment does not cater us in rural areas. As I conclude, we want to form clubs that nourish talent as much as academic skills. We can't. Why? We lack resources. Thank you for your time. May God bless you.
Wait a bit. You said you are from which school? No, Sondela Gangan. The name of the school?
Khwadam Lake Secondary School.
Where is that school?
It's under Spiti Circuit. My principal is Rachamos.
It's not in town. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay, colleagues. Learners of today, leaders of tomorrow. Thank you to the teachers who produced these brains. Thank you. Next.
Greetings to you all. My name is Thabo Mokoena. I'm from Nukutlo Secondary School. Because of the bill, we are not pushing grade 8 to grade 12. Yes, when you guys pushing or not grade 8 to grade 12, we don't push a grade 12 mara. We guys push a certificate. So, but why the ababa tuitionale lead educators, but tuitionale ba golo ba thuto. Ba khona gore bana ba palonga sekolong, ba khona go ba diela, ba khona go ba thusha gore ba khona ba apply la diloji gore ba khona go ria dilo tsa matsogo. Because of how pushing one not grade 8 to fihla grade 12, o ka se mo push ora go certificate. So o ka no tšea kgomo wa tšea wa isha ka nokeng wa re yo no metsi o ka se force gore no metsi. So if ba ka ba thusha ba thusha na le batswadi ba rena gore ne ba khone gore tšea ba re ishe dikolong tša matsogo re khone go ria dilo tša matsogo gore ka morago le rena re tle re khone go thushega go thushang gore each and every year re ba di drop outs tša bana ba bantši ba ba no ba re no ba feta mo ditseleng aba ba thushega selo, they don't even care. Mara enge ba ba thushitse go tloga morago ba ba ruta dilo tša bona tša matsogo bana gale ba tlo kgona go hwetša gore selo se ya se rata se ka se go palela bana ba kgona dilo tša matsogo ba palela ke ka thutong mara ge di educators di ka thušana le batswadi ba rena re ka kgona go elošantšha taba ya gore bana ba be re be le di-drop out tše dintši le ba ke gore ba re apply le ba di dikolong tša matsogo le kgone go dilo tša matsogo le rena tle re kgone go swana le ba bana ba bang ka morago ke a leboga.
Waiting the interpretation.
Thabo Mokoena, he says, you cannot push the child from grade 8 to 12. Parents should take their children to skills offering schools. You cannot take a donkey to the river and expect it to drink water if it won't. If these children can be helped and their parents be helped to identify their children's skills, then the teachers will have done a good job. Parents should encourage their children who cannot be academically taught to gain skills. They will be able to fend for themselves in the future.
Luna, Elefeja, you don't say we are done. And I can't see you properly because of the light. That has been scorching me from the beginning until now.
But however, thank you very much. Wanaka, thank you very much for the input that you have made. I think parliamentarians were listening. My teacher, Ali produce you. Lelena, we say thank you. Next.
Chairperson, thank you very much, and the honorable members. I am Rodua Mahobato, Kagwabutokwa, School of Mamutsana Primary School, Union Nikea Satu. Chairperson, South Africa, it's one country and it must have one law. We cannot afford to take individual, selfish and personal people to come and try to distort the facts that we are putting. I'm raising this chair because I heard some of the presenters here saying the HOD's powers must be limited. No, it should be the opposite. We support the bill as SATU because the schools belongs to the Department of Education. Nobody would come in this meeting and say we don't support the bill. We only say, Chairperson, consider these submissions. We support the bill, but with these submissions that we want the portfolio committee to note. Chair, number one, the issue of admission must be centralized the way it is continuing. I'm saying this because in Mount Queen, where I used to work, and in Social Nguvo, where I used to work as a teacher, we realized that some individual SGBs use this to pursue their personal and selfish interests. That does not the interest of all the learners at heart. So it is procedural that the SGB must also always be held or their powers be reduced so that the Department of Education, through the HOD with delegated powers by the DG, to continue making sure that all learners attend schools closer to their home. Chairperson, what we want to make an appeal, Kehore, let's make sure that, I'm saying this because I'm a primary school teacher for over 2 decades. So what we also know, to which we don't emphasize, is that grade R is not yet compulsory. We support the bill, Chair, by making sure that grade R becomes compulsory. We can add that those learners, if you check your statistics, you will realize that those learners who didn't do grade R are not as good as those that did grade R. So, Chair, on that note, we also re-emphasize that we want the grade R practitioners to be employed like full-time teachers as in the Employment of Educators Act, so that they do the same. You find in Mamtana Primary School, I've got a grade R teacher, they call them grade R practitioners. I've got another grade R teacher who's a teacher by qualification. They do the same job, but their conditions of service, including remuneration, they differ drastically. That becomes unfair. Chair, as I close, let's continue that. We implement this as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Toga Respect, and I'm here representing my school, Manare Secondary School, as a RCL president. I actually support the bill, but somehow I don't support on section 51, talking about home education. As a learner from a rural area, I don't think home education is best for us because our parents of others are not educated and others are educated. So how come can I get help from a parent who's not educated? Because of the past few years, she didn't attend the school. So I think home education is preferred for the learners from urban areas because some of their parents are educated. So as a rural learner, I don't think it's good because I attend school early and come back late. So which time can I get educated at home and with my parent which is not educated? So I think this home education is preferred for urban areas. So in my opinion, I don't think this will stop me to educate by myself without the parents or encouraged by a parent. Some of us, we can get help from a parent in a primary, at foundation grades. So when come to high school, they struggle to help us about the work we found in high school. So urban areas, I think home education is the best for them because some other schools in urban areas, they don't actually attend their studies. They come out of the school on time and not attend in early. According to this time when load shedding is there, so I can't get education from home because of the load shedding. I must conclude my homework at school before getting home because at home I can't get a chance because of some of us, we live in our granny sisters who are not educated, our mothers, grandparents, so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wanaka. Colleagues, an observation. Majority of learners who are coming here, and this is something that we did not get from the two centers where we conducted public participations, where learners were coming in their numbers. Capricorn people, Sekhukhune, and Waterbeck, thank you for the role that you played in preparing our leaders of tomorrow. It's a good and excellent job. Next.
Bela, nalina langa kinashili conference ngato. I'm standing here representing Congress of South African Students, because here in Limpopo, I'm the acting provincial secretary. I'll be general. First of all, to show what we believe with this program. The main aim of this program is to improve so that at the end of the day, we become better people in the end. So the first issue that I want to highlight here is the issue of security in schools. Our department doesn't, I can say our department doesn't care actually about our schools. Yet they say we want a safe learning environment. But then coming to the issues of security, they're not touching anything on it. Referring to the issue of the norms such as school, these norms, they don't cover this security stuff, but yet you want the college arena to perform at its level, best level. And if we can go back, for us to have a proper or better education, security must be prioritized. Going back again, we have the issue of feeding schemes in schools. If we can check good colony, really feeding school is not actually that proper. I'm saying that because we move across the province trying to monitor everything. So regramatata to say. Honestly speaking, regramatata. All the schools, if my teacher and the principal here, they can attest to this. Or matata. The other issue, that thing, yeah, school principal will withholding school cards at the end of the year. Whereas when grade 12, they should be getting their statements. The Department of Education is doing nothing at all. Each and every year, at the end of the year, we receive many calls as Congress of South African students from parents to Congress of South African students because my teacher the principal the statement and they are claiming certain fees which we don't have. So we are pleading with the department to please at least if we get a circular to show where the teacher the principal just called those things because it is against the law. Speaking no, we had a certain issue going to Malanga province whereby the certain principal those school cards, those the statements to say, and then know if we can check the universities, those that didn't now go when so releasing those things after a time, going back, we can see already this thing is your creator like a dropout that chance to summarize my things or to be fast also like this one of introducing more technical schools more South Africa. We have a serious problem of the dropouts, so we believe or as the department if they can introduce more technical schools it will help us as South Africa because unemployment rate
now if that time Thank you very much, my daughter. Interpreters, any need for interpretation because he was mixing, covered. Thank you. Now we come this side with the hope that possibly it may be the last round. Parliamentary Protection Services, can you assist? Yeah, I'm afraid this should be the last round before you collapse. Line up ya mafelelo ntate. Yeah. 3 districts. There should be no qualms about that. And I'm cheering here. This is not Gauteng. Bela, are you coming out? Baba. Okay, Wanak, I wanted them to get seated first and be satisfied. Some are coming for the second time. Yeah. It's abominable to come for the second time, colleagues. Thank you very much, Wanaka. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Greetings to the House in its fullest capacity. My name is Precious Mphahlele, and I'm the president of the RCL for Lehlaga Senior Secondary School in Maralaleng. So just to start off, I would like to state that I fully support the bill. Starting off with section 1, letter C, which speaks more about corporal punishment. The definition, it says corporal punishment is defined as any deliberate act against a child that inflicts pain or physical discomfort to the learner or to the student. I would like to say this act or clause is fully practiced in some of our schools, but we're still having many, if not all, of the public schools that are still not practicing this clause. I would like to state that there are very several and different ways that educators and teachers can punish learners or to discipline them without enforcing harm or bringing pain to the learner. Example, they can restate their code of conduct and also teach the learners more about the code of conduct, because I feel like there won't be a learner that is in a school that will practice any misconduct if the conduct itself is clearly stated. So I would like to urge all the teachers and all the people that are responsible for drafting the code of conduct in schools to make the code of conduct clearly stated in a way that no learner will misinterpret or will not understand the code of conduct. Moving on, I would like to go to the amendment of Section 3, Act 84 of 1996, and it says that each and every school should, it says a public school must admit and provide education to learners and must serve their educational requirements for the duration of their school attendance without unfairly discriminating in any way. And I would like to speak more or elaborate more on that last part that says unfairly discriminating in any way. Yes, there are schools and public schools that are not discriminating any child whenever they're administering or admitting them, but we're still having the issue of learners from that particular school discriminating other learners. We have LGBTQI plus communities and also different religious beliefs. If we are having learners that are discriminating other learners, we are preventing them or rather violating their freedom of expression and also freedom of speech, which are clearly stated in the Bill of Rights for each and every individual in this country. So we must therefore strengthen the laws that are present in schools, that each and every learner in each and every school should try by all means and respect the rights of the learners. And just to end off, I would like to say we are moving towards the 4th industrial revolution, and I urge that each and every public school to offer necessities and necessary essential skills for learners so that they can be equipped for life, including the usage of technology in schools. I thank you.
Thank you, Manaka. Mukhalabye Mandela Uri, it is in your hands. You are displaying that. Teachers who produce the brains, Bayadanki. Next.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Mububa Pumelo, and I am from Lishara Secondary School, the Secretary RCL member. I would like to start off by saying that I support the bill, but however, I would like to comment on the amendment of Section 3 of Act 84 of 1996. I think that this amendment is not clearly stated. What I'm trying to emphasize is that what happens to those learners who live with their grandparents who are disadvantaged in terms of knowledge of these basic educational laws, and some of them are illiterate. Are they also going to receive this harsh punishment of imprisonment? I think it would be in best interest of everyone if the matter is investigated on first and analyzed to see if they deserve this kind of punishment. This also takes us back to the illiterate old people, especially in rural areas, as I believe that everyone in the country has the right to education. So I say that education for elderly people should be practiced in order to promote the literacy or to promote the illiteracy of the population, to promote the illiteracy of more people. And this would help them in small things such as filling forms for their grandchildren and helping them with homeworks. This therefore improves the educational system of the country. I thank you.
Thank you. Proudly Limpopo. Next.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lebogang Julia Mamabolo from Mangweng Hamutapo village, representing DA. I strongly disagree with the Bela bill. In Section 4A in Act 84 of 1996, drop out. The thing which makes me to stand up here, I was nearly being a dropout. There was no one who came to my house to check what is going on if I don't attend the school. And then the other thing I want to introduce is that EMS should be introduced earlier in grade 4, not grade 7, for the kids to have entrepreneurship skills at early age. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wanaka. Lena, relebo ma teacher baba producer ma biyo kwa mkuto. Next.
Thank you for giving me this ample opportunity. Greetings to you all. My name is Mabaso Letabo, the president of Morupa Secondary School and the deputy president of Mahatla Seket. I personally don't support the bill because in most schools, teachers do both teaching and being security guards at the same time. Because most kids are involved in drug abuse, and one more thing that results in this issue is because government doesn't provide well-qualified security guards to school. I deeply feel sorry for our teachers. I'm pleading with you all to make sure that each and every school has security guards to end drug abuse in schools. And one more thing that affects learning is lack of resources in school. It makes learning to be difficult, especially science learners, because they perform experiments. One of the tragic situations we once undergone is drawing a beaker and imagining how chemicals react. Please hear our cry and please accept my deepest gratitude.
Thank you very much for the input. Next.
Greetings to you all. I go by the name of Malesa Lesero. I'm the president of Khalema Senior Secondary School, and I'm in the Southern District and Nikutlo Seket. So I support the bill, but there's somewhere that I do not. You can't just say home education, but do not give the correct equipment to provide that home education. Home education is good, it's a great plan, but give the right equipment to proceed that home education. And then in my school, we have a problem of fainting learners. And I came in front of you to help me how to resolve that issue. We need help from you to resolve that issue because this is a big issue. Children are fainting in my school. We don't know why. And we came to you. So many people came here and talked about children coming with knives and other stuff at school. But there is a main purpose of that being, that happening. In my experience of learning, I once experienced something when a teacher, we have miscommunicated, and she said to me a word that did not sit well in my heart. She said to me that, don't talk to me like that, I'm not your mother, and I will never be your mother, and that's it. And that broke my heart because my mother is a deceased. You can't talk about my mother. That anger that came into me for talking about my mother, and my mother is a deceased, is not good. So please, I told teachers to stop doing that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wanaka. Teachers, Capricorn, Sukukuni, and the Waterberg, you must stop. He is pleading. They are talking about his deceased mother. Next, thank you.
Kialeboa. Erigeti sabaga segi dumidisha tafola ya khetwa. Nake khwadi tshwantshi ke emeje mokgatlo wa matitjhere wa Sathu Mashashane Maraba branch ka fase ga Capricorn. Ere ke thome ka hore ke support bill ya Bela 100%. Ile ba hore ke nyaka no latlhela tse pedi tse tharo ke tla ba very short. Ga le lebeletse mo section ya 12 ya merging. Go na le mo subsection B number 1 e bontshang gore MEC o tshwanetse gore a tsebishe di stakeholders ka moka a shumishe newspaper tša kgauswi. Re bona ka re a e botlhokwa tabewe ka baka la gore mo dikolong re na le mekgatlho a tshwana le bo QLTC le bo NECT tše le gore di kgona o tšweletša information eo ka sekgauswi ka gore batho ba bantši a ba le dikuranta tšane tše mohlomongwe information e ka tšwela ka jona ka matse a mangwe re ra gore number 1 ewe re be re o iša o ka re e ka fetšišiwa ya tlošiwa le number 3 Roman figure 3 re sa le gona mowe ntlha ya bobedi ya mafelelo re sa le mo tabeng ya merging re lemogile gore di-consultation di a diega ka mokana tšona di-step ka moka di a tšeiwa mara ka moseta department a ba dire mošomo wa bona ke tla fa mohlala o motee re a tseba gore dikolo tše dingwe tše di mejiwang di tšwa di le kgole o khumana sekolo se se ntshwa se le kgole le mo le gore bana ba ba tšwa gona bjalo a di be le re temogela bothata bo bogolo ka gore department ya ke tebatša re tshwanetse provided transport for bana ba e le goreng ba tšwa kgole gane bjalo dikolo tše ke di tsebang tše e le goreng ka di bolela ka maina go tlhokega bana ba tsamaya bo ma 10 kilometers ngwana grade 8 mokakanyana a sena transport ka baka la gore somebody in the department o lebetše o procura dibase ka nako go botšiša e ba taba ya gore re procurile mara a se re humane dibase ka nako e tšo o na le di-taxi tše dintšhintšhi le dibase tše dintšhi tše e le goreng mohlomong di ka tšea bana baue bana ba rena ba sepela ka divene le tše dingwe ba bantšhi ba sepela ka maoto ka boripana ke dilo tše be re nyako di lebelela gore no department before ka complete merging I make sure dilo ka moka tše di nyaka di bohlokwa thobela.
Thank you, and thank you very much. On that very last issue, I think the relevant person was noting it will be criminal for our learners to walk more than 10 kilometers. It's against the policy, it's against the law. Thank you very much. I think they will correct that. Next speaker.
Thank you, Program Director. My name is Sam Raselaya. I'm the chairperson of Polokwane branch under Capricorn region of SATU. Firstly, what we want to make it clear, chairperson, is that as SATU, we support the bill. And then there are two issues that we want the portfolio committee to note so that they must not compromise on those issues. The first one is the issue of the determination of the language policy. We are saying we fully support the bill because this determination of the language policy is the one that is used by most governing body to exclude our learners. And in order for us to address the imbalances of the past, we need to take that power and give it to the HOD so that the HOD will monitor as to whether learners are excluded or not. The second issue is the issue of admission. We are saying where the SGB does not want to admit learners because of their race or their language, the HOD must intervene in order to make sure that those learners are admitted to those schools. And then on the other end, we want to say to the portfolio committee to say, please also look on the issue of Section 44. The issue of on Section 44 talks about the financial year of the school. It says the financial year of the schools start from January to December. But if you check, the schools, most of our schools, they receive funds towards the end of the year in November. And then if you have budgeted for projects, you will not implement those projects. So we are saying there must be changes with regard to the financial year of the school. So we submit, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker. Yeah, before you can speak. Colleagues, let me make this straight, that this will be the last cohort which is going to come. Anyone who wanted to speak is not going to get chance, therefore go there and get the forms and complete them. Thank you very much.
Tobela ko lo tshaba re suta fele tlhompega gore a le saluta. Ke phatodisa mmele wa Ramano, ward committee member ka ward 3. Se se gapeleditse gore ke eme mo ka molala bopo sekete ga go lo ka mlepo di apete di tswaletswe. Ke boele ke supporta Bela bill. Ke boele go section 12 ya matching. Ge re metša dikolo ke na le bothata ka dikolo tsela di tlogelwang di fetoga lefelo la dikebeka mola ka tlhakoring le lengwe di apete di tswaletšwe ka lebopo go ra re dikolo tsela di se sa šomišwang di thusa ba le ba go dira bobe le go godiša lona lefelo la nyaope ke a leboga.
Korten Bondag, next.
Revolutionary greetings to you all. My name is Alton Velihlongwane from Ngwanabatlalelwa Secondary School. Okay? I personally support the bill when it comes to bullying in Section 9 of Act 84 of 1996. Chairperson, remember that bullying is one of the major epidemics that happens in our country, especially in Limpopo. It mostly occurs in high schools. So I urge the high offices to take action when it comes to bullying, to take action when it comes to bullying, to partake when it comes to bullying. Remember that bullying leads to emotional distress, loss of self-esteem, loss of self-confidence, and also physical injuries. So I ask the high offices of Limpopo Department of Education to take a huge step when it comes to bullying in the school premises, so that every learner can feel like he or she is at home. Remember that the mission is to make every learner feel comfortable at the school premises. So I urge you to take a huge step. Viva building better schools, viva!
Brighter future. Next.
Greetings, members of Parliament. I am Lucille Greiling and I'm a homeschool parent. I do not support the bill, especially Clause 37, Section 51, as I believe that homeschooling hasn't been researched enough by the DBE, and so a law about homeschooling cannot be made to support a homeschool child to the best of their education. As a lot of homeschool parents have brought forward, homeschooling is different from the standard schooling system, and so the laws for schools will not work for the homeschool system, where the forecast is that every learner is different, and so different curriculums will work for each learner and not a one-fits-all. We are not a one-size-fits-all community, so why a one-size-fits-all school system? Therefore, I ask you to split the bill. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Good morning, Chair, and all protocol observed. I am Patha from Satu Seshego branch. Now, I support the bill as Satu, except for the following. Number one, alcohol in school are chalk and cheese. If one is to take into consideration the denotative meaning of school. Number two, there is a movement. I'm talking about the schools having multi-languages. There is a movement to create an Orania of some sort in the province. And it is not going to happen under our watch. Number last, which is number three. Yes, we are advised not to administer corporal punishment, but we are not told what to do when they slap us at schools. Thank you.
Next.
Thank you, Chairperson, and greetings to honorable members. Molapi Soviet Lakhanyan is my name. Number one, Chair, I'm coming from the African National Congress. I want to express my support for the bill with the areas of improvement that have been raised here, in particular by SATU. I think I'll speak to 1, 2, or 3 of them. Look, the bill must help us to enhance the transformation agenda, not only in education, but also in society. The admission and language policies or proposals that are there must not seek to reverse the democratic gains that we have achieved since 1994. We don't subscribe to any notion of voortrekker tendencies or inclinations. We don't subscribe to any notion of folkstatism. We don't subscribe to any notion of Bantustanism. We cannot afford to have black spots in predominantly white enclaves. Neither can we afford to have white spots in predominantly black localities. The town of Polokwane, Tsanin, Lephalale, Potgietersrus, and so on and so forth, have been built in areas largely inhabited by blacks, by Africans. The education that is being offered in those localities, in those towns, must enable black people to rise. Whatever language policy we adopt, it must further our transformation agenda. Number 2, government has invested hugely in infrastructure. The bill must provide for both human security and physical security. It does not make any sense for us to train teachers only for them to be attacked at schools. Parents send their children because they believe schools are a safe environment. The infrastructure we built, I heard some here speaking about asbestos roof. We have eliminated asbestos roofs in our schools, and we must be able to protect that infrastructure. Electronic equipment like computers, everything government is providing at school has to be provided. We need elaborate security measures to protect human resource and fiscal infrastructure. On a moral aspect, permission of alcohol in school premises. In fact, if we use that language, we must not say alcohol, ethanol, because it's for academic purposes. That is the only instant where we can allow for permission of alcohol. So the law must protect teachers, it must protect our children. And furthermore, any provision that has to do with the crime scene has to be dealt with in accordance with the Criminal Procedure Act. No principal must be allowed to take objects that have been confiscated in school premises to a police station is against the Criminal Procedure. There must be harmony between all the laws of the Republic. Thank you so much.
Instruction from below. Next.
Constance Pulani Mahasha from Limpopo Disability Center Managers Forum. Leetong la bashumi ba rena ke go mena mmusho wa rena o re thuse re a sokola re ba rena ka bana ba profound ba level ya fase bana ba le ba lwala malwetse a o fapana mo e le hore rena bashumi re ba berekang a ka re affecta at any time re a le gopela mmusho wa rena re thusheng ka at least a stipend re khone o bya borotho tafuleng re swane le bangwe tjatsi le lengwe re phadime ke a lopela mmusho wa rena ka tlhompho le boikokobetso re gopela le meago ya bana ba le ba lwela malwetse a o fapana re gopela meago o re khone ba groupa according to their ages ka abaduli blekoti ba bangwe ba itoma 0 to 6 years re ababia blekoti ba year 7 year 14 ngwana 14 years aga se dule blekoti le ngwana 0 to 6 years re a le gopela re opela meago ya khona accommodate bana ba le rena le bona kwa di centereng le dijo bana ba rena ba blakitala re a gopela bana ba rena batho re thusheng o go bana ngwana a dile centereng a sena scarf tin wena mmemwae o tshwantse gore o mo thushe ore le ena a kgore a tshwane le bana ba bangwe nako tšea goma ka ipolane ka lebaka la gore le nna ke kgwetse selo re thušene re bereka boima mmušo wa rena re kwalele bothoko le rena re tshwanelwang ka lela matšatši re bommemo ba bana re bereka ka bona LSPD e dile disentareng ba re disa learning program re ya re operator re ya ba thusa bana bele re ya ba ruta most of them need a support all the time ko re bereka as a teacher wa bereka as a nurse at the same time batswadi ba rena re tswelele bothoko re utlwa bothoko re wa boima ke a leboga.
Thank you, and thank you very much. Interpreters, do you have got something to say very briefly? Quick. The quick one.
Government, please support the disabled people because they work and they don't get any stipends. And the level of disabilities to these children or students which are accommodated in the centers is not the same. And it becomes a problem when you have to teach a 14-year-old together with a 10-year-old. We've got to separate these children according to their age so that we are able to control and manage how they behave. Thank you.
Really, thank you very much. Colleagues and everybody in the hall, just give yourself a round of applause for the patience that you displayed and the discipline respecting the decorum of Parliament, the decorum of this house. We are rounding up. Let me now indicate to you the way forward so that I will be demystifying some of the utterances which nearly misled you. From here, as a way forward, we are done with Limpopo. And our next move is to the Free State the coming weekend until we complete the whole 9 provinces. Operation Duty Calls. At the end of all these public participations or public hearing, we have got our parliamentary team, which will also be assisted by the parliamentary legal services and the departmental legal services, to write a report based on, number 1, the written submissions, number 2, the oral submissions, number 3, the outcomes of all the public hearings which we shall have conducted. That report will be brought to this August Portfolio Committee on Basic Education. We are going to debate the report, and once we arrive at a moment where we say we adopt this report, then it means it is our report as the Portfolio Committee. We are going to hand it over to Parliament for the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa to adjudicate on the contents of the report and our recommendations and the adoption thereof. And so that if there will be disagreement with the final product, then we get and zoom into the process of voting. The voting will mean the outcome of the whole product, whether the bill is accepted or not accepted. That is going to be the process. That is going to be not this other one. Anybody coming to tell you that there are so many disabilities, it's a lie, it's a fabrication, it's a myth. Thank you very much. I'm taking this opportunity and hand over to the chairperson to pass vote of thanks. If she would deem it fit to delegate to anybody, so be it. Over to you, my chair.
No, thank you very much. I think at this point, let me thank the chair of the provincial legislature, Honorable Violet Mate, for being with us throughout from Vembe, from Zanin, and to be here today, and the members, of course, of the legislature. Thank you for following the sector wherever it goes in your province. I want to ask the chair of the legislature to do a vote of thanks to everybody.
Good evening.
to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education and your entourage, my fellow members from Limpopo Legislature, members from our National Assembly who joined us today, to all the forums, the reps that are here from all the forums, political parties, from all the parties that were having in Limpopo, especially our National Executive Member, Comrade Soviet Lekhanyani, to all the parents, the learners, all protocol observed. Let me take this opportunity on behalf of the committee to thank you all for having attended this important gathering and make inputs that will shape your future as our learners, the future of your children as parents. This shows clearly that all the people of Limpopo will know what we want, what is best for our children, and what is not. Which you must, and also you must also know and understand that as the Portfolio Committee or as members of the National Assembly or the legislatures, our role is to pass the budget. Again, our role is to play oversight over all the departments. Hence, all that you were saying that were not part of the amendment of this Bela bill are going to be followed up by the two committees, that one from nationally and us from the region, from the province. We are not making you to be angry to say they're singling out other people to say which school are you coming from. We want us to be able to make follow-ups on what was said here, because it shows that our department is not doing enough for our people. So, but let me say, all the inputs that you were making here has been recorded and is going to be processed as expected. With these few words, let me say you are all thanked by this committee. Until we meet again, go well, go share. Thank you very much.
The last one, colleagues, there are some light refreshments when you walk out. That is the price of your patience. Those who left, they have left with their empty stomachs, and you will see, you can take and eat, and if you see some remnants, you come back for those who shall have left. By virtue of all authority and powers vested in me, this gathering is officially dissolved. You are now on your own.